Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and now I'm here with Andrew Velez and River Brown. And this is now episode 494. In this episode, we're going to talk about every single NBA trade that has happened thus far, minus the ones we have talked about before, like Desmond Bain going to the Magic, Kevin Durant going to the Rockets. After we recorded 493, a plethora of NBA trades happened right after we recorded the episode. So we'll talk about that. And then the NBA draft, the first round is officially over. The second round is going on while we're recording, and we'll give our winners and losers and our favorite picks of the night. Fellas, how are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised by the draft a few times. Surprised in a bad way other times. I'll say this, my bags have been packed and stored away in some cities. After last night, I feel very comfortable. I think I found a home in San Antonio. I won't get too ahead of myself, but I'm excited to talk some basketball, boys. Dels, that kind of stinks. Dels,
and no John Tortorelli.
Shit didn't hurt me.
No Dels? That doesn't hurt you?
Doesn't bother me at all.
Riv.
I'm excited.
I get the whole ha, you have this little rivalry going with Dels.
It's not a rivalry.
Be honest. You miss him.
But I will say happy to be here with you guys for sure. Undoubtedly in my mind, I'm definitely happy to be here with you guys. Draft day happened. Draft time is my favorite time of the year. Getting to see these new guys come in, getting to hear about their stories. We heard some great stories. VJ Edcombe's story. Kaman Malawatch's story. The fact that he said his mom or they were living off like generators, that was dope.
VJ facts, that was cool.
And to hear how he was getting money off his college and he was helping out foundations in the Bahamas, that was dope to hear that. So just to hear these stories and hear how the Ace Bailey saga went about and he ended up in Utah. A lot of trades, a lot of teams are gearing up. I seen a lot of East teams kind of gearing up to be competitive because they realize the East is as wide open as it's been, but excited to talk ball.
Hey, babe, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at these amazing ticket prices on SeatGeek. $16 to go to a Mets game, and the seats look incredible. I mean, my goodness, look at where you're sitting. I might get tickets for the both of us. If you use code PAS10, you can get 10% off your SeatGeek order, and now is the best time of year to go get tickets to an event. The weather is amazing. You got baseball going on. You have the WNBA going on. And SeatGeek isn't limited to only sporting events. You can also go to concerts and a variety of other different events. So if I were you, I'd definitely use the SeatGeek app. They got amazing prices. You can use code PAS10. SeatGeek is all Pick a Side uses, and that's all you should use too.
Can I say this, Joel, to Riv, really? In years past, you and I have been locked in, and I've known who your guys were coming into the draft. This year, I feel like more than ever, the NBA, I think they missed the mark a little bit by not at least spacing the draft at least a month after the NBA Finals. No, they gave it to us 2 days after the Finals was over. And now we have to sit here. 2 days is an exaggeration, but nevertheless, now we have to sit here, and I'm interested because who are your guys? Because I feel like in years past, like I knew Eamon was your guy. I've known Cade was your guy. That was very early on. Off the top of my head, I'm kind of blanking on a couple. I feel like Kuminga you were forced into loving because of the Warriors. But obviously there's so many guys, but I'm interested. Who are your guys this draft?
Jeremiah Fears. Been big on him. Trey Johnson
guy.
Yeah. Nick Clifford.
So your bags are not packed in Washington?
Not necessarily. I like their young core prior. Like I liked watching it, but
no, I'm with you. But I'm saying
I think
the pool parties are over.
Yeah,
in
I'm still gonna watch. I'm still gonna watch Washington.
How many games are you gonna watch of Washington?
20.
You know what's crazy? I was gonna put 12 out there.
No,
I was gonna put 12 out there. So now you actually get a chance to watch Star. So like lock in actually.
20. I watched what I want to say 12 or 13 last year. So I watched 20. You know, because I have mad time at work. So when I have mad time at work, I just put on games. You know,
with those young teams, you just never know who's playing every other night.
Well, that's why I usually see with those teams, I watch the next day. So it'll be a game where it happens at night and stuff. Like I'll go to sleep, whatever. You get the big time games, whatever. You know, Golden State comes on late. But those teams that like the games already happened, I'll watch just during work. So it's really just me watching. How were you bad? That's really it.
So this, when you wake up in the morning after watching some games on NBA League Pass,
Check the box
maybe the
score.
primetime games, you wake up and you say, "Let me go watch some Wizards basketball."
I definitely say, yo, I want to watch some Jordan Poole today.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't care how nuts this sounds. When Lonzo was playing, I watched almost every single Hornets game.
Respect that.
Lonzo.
LaMelo, excuse me.
Oh.
Thank you. That's what I meant to say. When he was playing, I was tuned in. He was fun, and then the wheels fell off.
There's only a few teams I've watched every game.
They were fun when he was healthy, though.
Yeah, they were
To begin the year.
No, at the very beginning
Then
of the
they
year.
fell off when he came back as well.
Ooh.
No, you're not wrong. He wasn't his best towards the end of the season.
The team was very bad. That's all it
Who have
was.
you watched the most this year?
This year, I watched, outside of the Lakers, obviously, a ton of Rockets. And then before Wemby got hurt, without a shadow of a doubt, the Spurs.
Okay.
I was watching the Rockets and the Spurs, not nearly as much as the Lakers, because the Lakers gets every single game for me. Oof. I watched 35, maybe.
Bro?
Yeah, no,
I felt
the
more.
Rockets. No, for the Rockets and
Yeah.
Spurs, I'm saying each.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I felt more. Like I
Oh,
watched,
yeah.
I watched the smooth 65 plus Cleveland.
I respect that. I mean,
smooth.
Cleveland was basically your
Yeah.
team last
and then
season.
Memphis probably like 50.
Yeah, you wasted your time there.
Oh no, some of them were
Joking, I'm
electric.
just joking.
You're talking about the Grizzlies and the Wizards were in his rotation.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah,
sure.
There's so many teams in my rotation. I have to. Like I like a lot of these players. Like Spurs, I didn't catch 35. I caught maybe like 10.
That's the equivalent of listening to like SoundCloud instead of Apple Music.
With who?
Watching like the Wizards and like the Grizzlies. Like you're not listening to the top artists. You're more so listening to underground stuff.
You know, John Moran is one of the most viewed
Viewed
players
players
in the
ever.
league.
For sure, but I'm saying mostly the
What do you
Wizards.
say?
Okay.
Well, no,
Mostly
the
the
Wizards are
Wizards.
fucking cooking.
Can I ask you a question? Do you say watch games as in like you sat, it started, I turned them on,
Or they
or are
have
you
highlights?
saying like you're going back to watch them?
Both.
Because
Like, not the highlights, like the game.
Because for the Rockets, that's what I probably did for a majority of their games.
Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't
Like,
catch every single
Yeah,
one
no,
from
I'm just
start to
saying in
finish.
general, like,
All
just
right.
watch the game start. You're not going to catch every
Yeah,
game. Like, bro,
I was about to say,
yeah,
like,
you're
I'm
not gonna
impressed.
There's just some teams that they don't take watching them 20 times to understand what they do.
That's also true.
I could watch 5 games and get a good grasp of what they do.
Yeah, but I don't think we're watching to get a grasp. I think we just like the team.
It depends on which facts.
I'm definitely interested in certain things.
Like the Hornets, I only was watching for one thing and one thing only, truthfully.
Like to me, if something sticks out, like for example, when the Blazers went on a win streak, it's like, how are they winning? I'll go check it out.
Yeah, that's valid.
But
That's
like
valid.
with the
That makes
Wizards,
sense.
if they're just been bad the whole season, really nothing tempted me to watch the Wizards. I've watched maybe like 20 minutes of them.
Yeah, you have it was no real attachment for you.
No, not
So
at all.
like you ain't going like
They're a bad
I
team.
didn't go watch. Trying to think of a team.
The only team I did not go out of my way to watch was Utah, truthfully. Like at some point in time, I watched your favorite team last year, except for Utah.
It's like the Suns. Like the Suns at first, I was watching them. But then when Katie got injured and they were really bad, I stopped.
Yeah.
And then when he came back and they still were not that good, I stopped entirely.
Yeah, Sacramento's a team I don't go out my way to watch. Like unless you're
I
playing
did
one
2
of my
years
teams,
ago.
I don't go out my way to
Sacramento,
watch.
man, the highs are high.
Yeah, no, I just don't. Like you got that attachment for certain teams.
2
so.
years ago, like the Beam era, I was there every night.
I get
See,
it.
I like that.
And it was easy because the East Coast game would end and they'd be the last West Coast game on. So even if I didn't catch their beginning, I would always catch late third
Yep.
quarter, fourth quarter, the entirety of the game. And that's when De'Aaron Fox would
I was
cook up the
gonna
most.
say the games were always good towards the end.
Yeah,
with
that's
with
how
the
he won
Kings.
Clutch Player of the Year that
Sacramento
year.
had a shit ton of good ass games that year. Yeah.
Also, I should throw the Knicks in there in terms of teams I
So
watched the
yours
most this
is-
year.
is
So yeah,
Lakers,
Lakers,
Knicks,
Knicks,
Rockets,
Rockets, Spurs.
They had the best game of the year that year versus the Clippers.
Oh, the third overtime game.
Yes.
Yes, facts.
Yeah.
That game
They had
was
probably
crazy.
best second or third because their Warriors games were always electric. Yeah, the Kings even this year last year I'd say Kings are fun. They're fun
This
to
year was a
watch.
disaster.
Yeah, this year was pretty rough.
This
but
year was terrible.
that's good. That's a good four though. Lakers. I think mine was Warriors, Memphis, Cavs, Pistons.
Detroit. Yep. Facts.
Definitely like Pistons. I used to watch them before.
Yeah.
Lord have
I
fucking
know.
mercy.
I know.
Oh
It must
my
have not
God.
been fun.
Yo, it was hard, bro. Like watching that team, like that shit was hard. But now we're good.
Shout out to all the fans of bad teams out there.
Shit.
You guys are not watching the great product every night, but you still continue to support and go show support. That's real.
Like Utah
That's-
fans, I
real.
feel bad for you guys.
I feel bad, and I've talked very harshly on being a Utah fan. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, especially right now. I mean, Lord, it is bad. It is dark days out there, unless you're an Ace Bailey fan. But unless you're Ace Bailey, even if you're Ace Bailey, you're not even happy.
Yeah, his
Slippery slope.
His comments just he just throws me
I just
off.
control what I can control.
I let my team dictate. Like, what are you saying, bro? I don't know what he's saying. He doesn't ever answer the question. He never answers the question.
I don't want to cast an umbrella on all American-born players, but it's definitely changed over time in how a lot of NBA players, they have children, so then their kids or people within their family end up making it to the NBA. Like the rise of Nepo babies in NBA is more than almost any other sport. And football is very hard.
Baseball is nuts.
Baseball,
There's
I'm not too familiar with
many.
But I know in basketball, it has one of the highest percentage of like Nepo babies. Like
really?
Everybody has basically a family member that was or is in the NBA. And when you talk about somebody like VJ Edgecombe and somebody like Kaman Maluach, they come from overseas, and you could see how differently they treat the draft and how, like, you look at Maluach, he cried when he was drafted at first.
Yes, I want to say there is some Americans though, like
of course,
Cedric Howard. Just having that opportunity. I feel like I do agree with you in the sense of the guys who were born into it, like who are born into it. But even in some, like, I feel like our generation or prior to that, like, he's an extreme situation. But Steph Curry was very humble about his opportunity and him getting drafted and stuff like that. And even Bronny, I feel like Bronny was still, to a degree, humble about his opportunity, even though he was getting all the backlash and stuff like that. He was humble with the opportunity. Really, I feel like for me with Ace, it's the management. Like, I think that's who it. I don't think
he's getting some bad advice.
Yeah, I think,
and I'm not saying he's a Nepo baby because I don't think he is a Nepo baby.
I think
no. I thought it's Dylan Harper who's a Nepo baby. That's the one that I know of for sure.
In this draft,
100%.
yes,
he's like, I think he's like third generation because his brother got drafted.
Like he's like prime Nepo in terms of this draft.
Yeah,
but even American athletes, when they're young in the AAU circuit, they're treated like royalty.
Facts.
From the very beginning, that it is evident that they're really good at basketball. We're talking about free prep school. We're talking about free travel with AAU. We're talking about, like, they get treated like professionals at a very young age. So a lot of that can get to some people's heads, and they don't know how to handle that pressure because they're very young, and it makes sense. But it feels like that's been more on the rise with American basketball.
I also think the money too, like the money they're getting in college, like that's now changing their tune where, all right, I was getting a bag in college. Like this NBA bag obviously is different, but that rookie bag ain't going to be too far off from, if you a top prospect, that bag you getting plus the deals and endorsements. So if I have an opportunity to pick where I want to go when I'm already getting the bag, it's like, you know what I'm saying? They're giving more of that freedom. And I feel like that college there, the way he was, and Ace Bailey was like a top 3 prospect in his class.
Also, with basketball, it's much easier if you have money to like train your kids and hire a trainer to train them. And it's a sport that you're okay with your kids playing. There's a lot of professional football players, they don't want their kids playing football. And we know why, because it causes brain damage.
Yes.
But for basketball, it doesn't. You know, it's a lot of wear and tear on your body for sure, but it's not as physical as a game like football. So a lot of parents that were NBA players, they put their kids into doing the same thing.
So actually, Ace Bailey's family is very heavily into basketball.
Oh wow,
yeah,
okay.
They are. I figured it, but I didn't know what it was. So his mother played college ball at West Virginia. So that's a pretty high profile college. They haven't been that good lately, but his father, Richard Bailey, played college basketball at Houston. We know how Houston is.
Great
his
school.
aunt, Venus Lacey, played in the WNBA and was a member of Team USA's 1996 Olympic team that won a gold medal. So he's locked in.
It's in his family. Basketball is in his family.
Yeah, he might be a Nepo baby. I don't know.
That's like let's say like out of $1, I'll give him like a quarter Nepo.
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah, but he's in it. He's in it.
Because, dude, like, think about all the prospects that are coming into the draft. Like, Dylan Harper was obviously the top one in this one, where his father played in the NBA.
Champion.
Next year, Cameron Boozer. And also Caden, the Boozer brothers. They're Carlos Boozer's sons. Yep. I think in that draft, Trevor Ariza's son is in it. His name is Taj Ariza Jr.
You got Elijah Arenas.
I was going to say, when is he?
He's next year.
He's
at
next year
USC
too.
right now.
Next year's class about to be the GOAT?
Next year's class, the top is going to be phenomenal.
They're talking about it could be LeBron, D-Wade, and Melo.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's how
that draft class is going to be phenomenal.
AJ Dibas.
Debonsa. I can't believe I got that right.
And Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson is touted as the best guy in the draft.
Better than AJ?
Yes. Some people who you talk to.
He finished the year 1 because his senior year was nuts.
Darren Peterson.
Yes, he finished the year 1, but people have had AJ at 1 Boozer at 2 for like the past 3 years.
I always love when we have these conversations and it's like always the year before. And I'm just like, oh, who's this? Who's this?
They're all like AJ's going to play Darren. They're going to be in the same conference because Darren's at Kansas. AJ's at BYU.
AJ is going to BYU. That I knew.
And then Boozer's going to Duke. So he's going to be in ACC, but you know.
And there's another player's son, Brandon Roy Jr.
Yep.
I think he's going to college soon. Yeah, a lot of these players' sons, like they're
like,
here.
Khan is like a quarter too because his dad played.
Con Kneppel?
Yeah, his dad played in college. His mom played college, so he's like the same.
You see all their
pace.
families.
They all look alike,
but they all start with K.
Yeah, the 5
Concerning.
killers.
Concerning.
It's very
There's something there.
Yo,
Concerning.
I think 2 of them were taller than Khan.
Really?
The way it looked, yeah, I think so.
Did it shock you? He went 3, 4. Excuse me.
No, I didn't.
No.
No,
Okay.
it didn't.
Nah.
Maybe if you
Race?
told me at the very start of when the college basketball season ended, maybe yeah, but after watching, no.
I went 4 for 4. The first 4 I cracked.
You got VJ to Philly after or before?
Before.
Got it.
I dropped
That's
it like
impressive.
I dropped it like 4 o'clock, and I had VJ going to Philly. I was just like the noise of it too much.
So 5, you thought that Trey Johnson was going?
I think I had fears at 5.
Okay.
And I had no way. I could just easily like.
But
do
I say all
shit.
that
Another
to say
guard to Utah would have been criminal.
that all of the I watched a video recently, and basically basketball has become a rich person sport. And I think Draymond Green said this on his podcast not too long ago, where
Is that KD also said something about it, or I'm thinking of something?
it's just like, think about it. Nowadays, the best kids aren't the kids that are just playing at their park and they're just running 3v3 at the park. Like all the kids that are top kids, they're getting personal one-on-one training almost every other day. They're getting the top, like they're getting treated like professional athletes already with like what they put into the body, their training regimen, how much they're playing basketball. And that's also added to the wear and tear of them. I think that's why we're seeing more injuries in the NBA, but it's not the same as it was back then where, these kids, most on average, they had like a rags to riches story.
Yeah.
Where I'm not saying that doesn't exist now. It just exists at a lower rate now
100%.
because of just the influx of AAU and professional training. Like we know about the Drew Hanlons that train professional athletes like the NBA guys, but at the lower level, there's so many trainers that are training kids and trying to get them into the league or play at a high level basketball.
Yeah, because there's an incentive for them too.
Exactly.
So I had Trey going 5. Unfortunate. Jeremiah going 6. I had him going to Washington because the smoke about it.
You had Ace dropping 8?
Yeah, I had Ace going to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But I thought my assumption was Brooklyn was trading up regardless.
I can't believe they sat on their hands.
But funny enough, Brooklyn, I do have them taking Igor, Nolan, and Danny Wolf.
with the
With
4 other
19
picks.
Yeah, 19, 26, and 27. So I still have them going on these players. I just thought Ace would be at 8.
Yeah,
thought
I
he was gonna
didn't
go
love
Ace.
the Igor Demon pick.
Too early.
Yeah.
It's too early, man.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
He was gonna fall.
He was.
He was gonna fall.
There was a few guys
and
that.
even if he wasn't, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's
I'm with
okay,
you. I'm with
bro.
you.
You talking about Igor Demon?
Yeah, like
And you don't like him. You haven't liked him for a while.
Yo, funny enough, he started the year great, but I was skeptical because I'm like, they're not playing anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, let's wait and see when the competition ramps up. Competition ramped up, and he progressively got worse. He can't create, like, I know football, they say this, but it's NBA, it's kind of the same thing. He can't create any plays like out of structure. Like, it's the same type of vibe. Like, he has no separation.
He can't score.
He can't, but his feel for the game, like, he can make connective passes. Like, he's a really good passer. But, like, shit, 6'9", not much speed to him, not much agility. Like, you just can't get no wiggle, really. Is 8.
I definitely get that.
Jordy Fernandez, right?
They're asking Jordy to do a miracle.
And he can.
Can he?
I ain't putting that bread on it. Like,
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I.
If he does it.
Listen, I like the Wolf pick. I got to stay true to my Michigan guys.
Oh.
However, it wasn't the best moments for them. I didn't love that selection. I thought Kasparis, even still, like that would have been a solid pick at 8. Get some
Him
guard
flying
play.
to Miami, I like that from him.
No, 100%.
Miami did get a
We're going
pretty
to talk
good
about
steal.
that in a little bit.
So if you guys are watching and listening right now, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the podcast. Let's talk about the NBA draft winners first. I thought the biggest winner of the NBA draft was the San Antonio Spurs drafting Dylan Harper, drafting Carter Bryant. Dylan Harper, the way that he can attack the rim and finish, it's at an elite level.
It's beautiful.
And he draws fouls. a lot too. He averaged 6 free throw attempts per game. And while off the dribble, his shot needs work, off the catch, he shot a good percentage in college. It was 37%. And I think you can live with that. He's playing off the ball, primarily to Fox and to Wemby and everybody they got going there. So Dylan Harper did shoot well off the catch. He did pressure the rim at an elite level, and he did get to the line. I think the Spurs found the point guard of the future, and I tweeted this, and I hyperbolized it, but I mean it. You know, this draft, it's like they ended up, if these players reach their ceilings, Dylan Harper, Cade Cunningham type, an all-star who could be an all-NBA player, and then Carter Bryant, an OG Anunoby type, a 3-and-D player who, I mean, when he was playing with Arizona, they were 7 points better when he was on the court and he was a freshman. He averaged a steal and a block per game, and he played under 20 minutes. Like, he's going to be a perfect plug-and-play fit. And I told you this when we did the podcast the other day. I think the Spurs could be one of the 5 best teams in the West record-wise.
Yeah, I still don't believe
and I know that they're young, but I'm willing to say right now, Riv, I think they're going to be better and have a better record than this team I'm about to mention. And that's the Dallas Mavericks. If I had to bet the Spurs or the Mavericks to have a better record next year with the health concerns that the Mavericks have, I would go with the San Antonio Spurs.
I get it. You're a type of guy who sees plus 800 and you jump on that immediately.
That's a scolder.
It's not plus 800.
No,
it's not plus 800.
Joel, that's a scolder.
Like, when you talk about defense, Dallas. You talk about depth,
with
Dallas.
Victor Wembanyama on the court, I'll take the Spurs defense.
They have Cooper. The Mavericks have the best.
Victor Wembanyama's better.
You know, I'm with you. But
team defense.
Dallas
team
has
defense.
the best defensive front court in basketball.
The Spurs
right now.
got some good defensive pieces. Jeremy Sohan's a great defender.
Yeah, keep going.
Stephon Castle's a great defender.
We were talking about the front court, but I'll give it to you. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean,
you stop there.
I know who Wembanyama is.
I see. You see how you stop naming
but
people?
I'm not saying the Spurs are gonna do it because they're more talented. I think the Mavericks have more talent on paper.
They're better.
Kyrie Irving is probably gonna be out until January.
Yes.
And then Anthony Davis, you never know with him.
That's fair.
You know how healthy he can stay. And
Well,
I know Wembanyama.
That's what I'm about to say.
But Wembanyama, his entire rookie year, he did play for entirely the season.
Fair.
So I just feel like the Spurs, with the wild card that Victor Wembanyama is, he has the potential to be one of the 3 best players in the planet, impact-wise, by the numbers, by the eye test, this upcoming season. Like, I think him and Anthony Davis, Victor Wembanyama is better than him.
Okay.
And with the help that he has now, a full season with an all-star point guard in De'Aaron Fox, when you have the pieces around him, the reigning rookie of the year.
The reigning rookie of the year?
Yeah.
Yo,
and Stephon Castle.
Dude. Hold
they
on.
have the pieces to do this.
Hold on,
with Devin Vassell, who can average 20 any night and is good off the catch. I think the Spurs have some legit talent. And the same way that OKC made jumps, I think the Spurs can make a similar jump. I think the Spurs are the OKC Thunder's biggest competitor long term. In the next 5 years, that's the team that they're going to be looking at in the West.
That's an easy answer. Yeah, long term. Yeah. We're not talking about long term.
Why can't they do it this upcoming season?
Because we're not talking about long term. We're talking about this year, this upcoming season. And when you talk about this upcoming season, I think we forget that Dallas Mavericks team with Luka, of course, we thought they can be a team that can, be a competitive team, be back in the finals, back in the Western Conference Finals. They trade Luka at the deadline. They trade for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis comes into the mix. We saw his first game. Unfortunately, he got hurt in that. He was amazing.
Those 3 quarters.
And then we saw Kyrie after that ramp up, and Kyrie was electric. Not to mention, we like the depth on this team. Klay Thompson, Najee Marshall.
It's amazing. PJ Washington.
Don't start with Klay.
Then you got, I'm just naming the depth.
I know.
You got Daniel Gafford. You got Derek Lively. You have AD now with them. You have Cooper Flag right there with
Max
them.
Christie.
They're talented.
They're talented. Their depth is there. Their experience, the veteranship, the leadership, the coaching they have in Jason Kidd if he does stay there. Defensively, they're going to be one of the best defensive units in basketball. I just think with San Antonio, if you said 5 years, I'm with you. I think when we talk about young cores, we're going to get into those conversations.
I'm talking about 5 years in terms of they could be hosting a championship.
Listen, yeah. If we're talking about that,
is De'Aaron Fox good enough to be a 2?
He's not.
De'Aaron Fox was the second, if not first option on the team that was a 3rd seed in the West.
And lost in the first round.
Okay, we're not talking about what they're gonna do in the playoffs. We're talking about if they're gonna have a better record than the Mavericks.
You said hosting up a trophy. He's talking about that.
I said in the next 5 years they'll be hosting up a trophy.
Fox won't be there in the next 5.
I'm saying, is he gonna be there at the start of the season?
I think so.
This year?
I think he'll start the season.
Yes, Fox is playing with the Spurs this year.
What position is he going to play?
He's playing the point.
Oh, so Dylan Harper's going to come off the bench?
Why not?
I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, why not? I don't see a reason why he can't come off the bench his rookie year.
You draft a guy number 2 overall.
We just saw Reece Shepard sit the entire season.
Did you
Shepard and Dylan Harper, it's levels.
I'm not saying there's not levels, but I'm saying
Bro.
we just saw a top pick not play at all. Dylan Harper is going to be the sixth man on that team. He's going to have a valuable role.
I think your best example could have been Scoot Henderson.
Yes, that would have been.
You would have said Scoot. I would have dabbed you
because that's the same type of level.
There's no difference.
Well,
There's
no, because
difference.
Reed and he was.
I'm not talking about the prospect there. I'm talking about the role they had to play on their team.
But I feel like even still, I don't think Dale would have sat if he got drafted by Houston last
The
year.
original point was why wouldn't the second overall pick start?
Yeah, I'm
That's
with
the
you.
original point. And my point is they have an all-star point guard in the reigning rookie of the year.
But they
he's still going to be a
they
six man.
Stephon could play that. The thing is,
Let's say Stephon's 6'6" or I'm tweaked.
he's 6'6". He can
He
play.
can't
but
play
you
a
got
hybrid three?
Devin Vassell. I would think he'd be the guy.
Vassell could be the sixth man off the bench. Easily, he could contend for sixth man of the
They'll probably
year.
ramp him up though. Bring Dylan up the bench. It don't really matter to me. Like I don't like. He's gonna end up being a starter anyways.
We're gonna start Jeremy Shohan at the 4.
He's a great defender. He does. You could start Harrison Barnes too, though.
I would think I would rather that personally.
Harrison Barnes has been a starter
Consistent
on
guy.
a championship team
Oh, yeah,
and on the
remember.
third seed in the West 2 years
I
ago.
fucking remember that. It's a lot of projecting with San Antonio. Like I think with Dallas, the only way you can say San Antonio is gonna be better is because Dallas will be hurt. I think that's it. We're just talking on paper, talent for talent. Who's a better team? I think Dallas is one of the 5 best.
The
teams
Mavericks
in the West.
have an awesome roster, and I think yes, collectively it's there. Kyrie Irving's not going to be back until January.
Is that official?
He
We
tore his
were
ACL
guessing.
late in the season.
No, I know it was late, but I'm curious.
We were guessing. It could very well not.
I
be.
don't think that he's going to ramp up his process. Like I think a safe timetable would be
Just look at that. He's a little
January.
older too.
Okay,
I think that's a safe timetable.
okay.
The Mavericks don't have guard play.
Hey.
They don't. I like what Brandon Williams did. He showed
He's
some
solid.
things, but they don't have a starting point guard while Kyrie's going to be
January.
out.
It is
They're
January.
targeting return
Okay,
January
And
first.
their
good.
two guard is Klay Thompson, and Klay Thompson has been regressing. He really doesn't play no defense. That backcourt doesn't have no defense, and it's going to put a lot of stress on our front line, which I think
Maxey.
they'll be capable of handling.
Maxey.
But
Max Christie.
right now, the Mavericks' strength is their front court.
Yes.
That's their bread and butter. I think that with the addition of Dylan Harper, guard play is the Spurs' strength. And maybe the Mavericks do finish with a better defense. I think the Spurs can finish with a better offense because they're going to have multiple people who can table set, and they have Victor Wembanyama who can shoot from the outside.
This is because Kyrie's injured, correct?
Until January. Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, this team wasn't fully healthy when AD came back, but they did lose in the play-in.
Yeah.
You know, I think without Kyrie,
It makes it very hard.
they are play-in territory type of team.
Yes.
It depending on what Cooper Flag gives you, of course, which I'm expecting is going to be rookie of the year type of production. Until they get Kyrie back, that's when I think they can make some major noise and be a major threat in the West. But until that period of time, the start of the season to January, I think the Spurs could be a better team and have a better record. And then with the time that it takes to get Kyrie ramped up and to get everybody on the same page, I think it is possible the Spurs could finish with a better record.
Look, if you telling me in January the Spurs are like 2 or 3 games up on Dallas, I think the conversation is over. Because that means Kyrie's coming back. Like I think the conversation is over. Because realistically, what you're telling me is you think this team could be on the same page as Dallas because Kyrie is injured, and we know how great Kyrie was last year.
I also think that Victor Wembanyama could take a leap with the rate that he's been improving.
Yes, he can.
It just seems like
Another
last year.
leap. Oh,
That team needs
Beautiful.
more.
Last year, Victor Wembanyama started the season, I think, here. And this is not any fixed type of statement, just here. He ended the season so much better than he initially was.
For sure.
And I think that in his third year, he could take another leap. And that leap looks like what a third year LeBron James looks like, where this guy could be the best player in the league in his third season. He's that impactful.
This is smart of you to
So
do.
I'm
agree
taking
with
into
you.
account Victor Wembanyama, and I think he does have help.
I
I
agree
think
with
this
you.
roster, and I think Victor
Oh.
Wembanyama with
No,
help
this is smart of him to do.
could
do you mean
be
have
a
help?
top
All
5
the
seed
things
in the
you
West.
said on
What's the help?
on him in the past. Now this is smart.
Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox,
a lot of projecting.
Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, Carter Bryant, Jeremy Sohan, Harrison Barnes.
A lot of projecting.
I think this team is good. Like, yeah, it's not lighting the world on fire, but when you have a player as good as Wemby leading you,
I think that's the same thing
Yes.
with Dallas, though.
But do you also want to know what's a crux of theirs? Their backup big position. That is where I have a real legitimate concern with the Spurs and their roster because, of course, Wemby's there. How many minutes are you anticipating him to play a game?
30.
He's not going to play exactly. So what are we going to do for that 18 minutes? Who is our backup big option? it's not great, especially after trading away Zach Collins. That was their backup
They were a
option.
bottom
Even
10
still,
team in 3-point shooting.
Sandro Mamukelashvili.
shout out to Mamu. That's a Seton Hall legend. But in terms of legit, we feel comfortable with this guy coming off the bench, and
They were
there's
going
gonna
to
be a gap, but
free throw percentage.
we understand they're a bad 3-point shooting team.
And
We
they're
knew that.
adding
Free throw percentage.
They're a bad shooting team.
Do they get to the line a lot or no?
I don't expect them to.
Because if they don't, then Dylan Harper's going to improve that.
I was going to say, and also De'Aaron Fox full season, I think that'll give it a boost too. Because their real legitimate creator last season, there was two of them. It was Devin Vassell and it was Wemby.
Yep.
And Wemby, yeah, you do kind of have to foul him. Yes, he's going to be the one that gets to the line, but there's no other real guy imposing their will down low.
They were bottom 10 in rebounds.
There's no doubt about it. They were a bad
They
team
don't
last
have
year.
they don't have bigs outside of the big.
The Spurs were a bad team last season. I don't think they'll be a bad team this upcoming season.
Joel,
I think they will be a very good
I get
team.
where you're coming from. I think you make some solid points, especially I think the best point is that Kyrie's going to be out till January, but there is a part of me that does agree with Riv. If it's close come January and Kyrie's ready to go, and yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a management when it comes to his injury on return.
He's ready to
If
go.
it's close, I mean, the Dallas Mavericks are a better roster.
And I like Cooper
They're a better
Flag.
roster.
I
And
like Cooper
I like the
Flag.
Mavs a lot.
And you know how passionate I am when it comes to Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs. I think they're close. They're close. It might be the way that OKC was close when they were the 10th seed. That's kind of their ascension. Like, hey, Wemby's going to be first team All NBA. He's going to be in contention to win MVP. They're a play-in team, but like, hey, this team next season, I could see it. I could see the top 6 push.
But OKC
That's a season away.
Was the 10th seed with Josh Giddey starting and averaging 16 for them.
No doubt.
With
There was
I
some
think
baby talent on.
no
J-Dub was
Chet.
on that team. No Chet, correct?
So I'm
Jalen
thinking
Williams.
like that team. I think this Spurs team has more talent than that
They
team.
also had an identity, though, and that was hustle defense, and of course, SGA giving you 30 every night.
And I think with Wemby, the Spurs are going to be a top 10 defense.
They in theory
Dallas might be
should, but
top 3.
when he was healthy,
They'll be great.
when he was healthy, I think they cracked the highest was 12.
And Dylan Harper ain't no defensive stopper.
But he hustles and plays hard
Oh, God.
on defense.
Whoa,
he definitely,
whoa,
he's not
whoa,
a bad
whoa,
He's not going to
defender.
turn him
Easy.
into a top 10.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying what they have now. They
Carter
can be a top 10
Bryant's
defense.
definitely a great add to the wings because obviously
I
I,
don't
look
know.
at
He
their
might-
wing defense.
I don't see him playing a ton. Because they have Keldon
Is
and
Keldon-
Harrison Barnes.
Keldon, I don't want to say it's
Well, I
over.
forgot about
I don't know.
Keldon.
I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just saying just to start the year.
You're
just
100%
to start
right.
the
You're
year.
I
He's
just think
young.
that they have a lot of good players around Wemby. And yeah, I think because of Wemby, he can push them over the top.
Here's my crutch with that. I don't think you thought this until the draft happened. And it's fine.
Dylan Harper and
No,
Carter
and
Bryant.
that-
well, I
that's
thought they
fi-
were a top 5 team before
No,
the draft.
no,
He did say this.
But I felt like you knew they were picking Dylan Harper. That's why.
Yes.
Yeah, that was easy.
That's my point.
That was easy.
So, and I think that's fine because you're projecting. I think it's okay to project with teams like the Spurs. That is fine. I'm just going more with I feel like finished product in Dallas.
Can you argue that Dallas is projecting too?
Outside of health, no.
That is kind of a projection,
That
though.
is the biggest projection with them.
I can't know because I.
You know what I mean? You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I think it's different projection.
Because
though.
we're also projecting Kyrie's back in January.
Well, that's the timeline. Yeah, I think that's different projection than
Yeah.
projecting rookies to just be day one impact.
But then also Cooper Flag. Like, I know we're being fair because Cooper
didn't
is
even
the
mention
best
him.
talent. But I'm saying in
Yeah.
terms of Dallas,
Yeah,
I think
even
that's a
mention
big
him.
part of our argument, though, when it comes to Dallas. You have AD, Cooper Flag, the depth around the wings with Najee and PJ, their front court being
No, I know what you
AD, Derek Lively, and Daniel. Like, there's an amazing foundation around the number
But
one
I didn't
overall
even
pick.
like mention Cooper Flag in none of my
No,
conversations.
but I'm saying that's a projection.
So,
We're projecting.
I don't even like because I feel like Cooper. I can project with him, but like even take him out of it, it's still
You're
AD,
right. You're
Lively,
right. You're right.
Daniel Gafford, Najee Marshall, PJ. Like it's still a really defensive minded front.
100%.
I don't think the Mavericks are finished. I think that they're going to make some moves.
They need to. They need a guard.
Because
Bad.
Daniel Gafford was extended, but he's trade eligible already. They don't have to wait. And they could keep him. They could also look to trade him because Anthony Davis can't shoot the outside jump shot. And it's basically 2 centers, although AD doesn't want to play center. He's basically a center out there if he can't stretch the floor and shoot like that. And Cooper Flag is more natural at the 4, although he could play the 3 as well. So Gafford extension makes him trade eligible already, and they could maybe trade him to go get a guard.
Can I tell you a nice piece that I feel like it's a move around the edges that still could be impactful off the rip? Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton should not be a player that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. He's a guy that you can have be on your team that can be a starting level guard. And then once Kyrie Irving comes back, Colin Sexton as your sixth man off the bench, that is a great option.
Yeah, I think one or two of the current players on the Mavericks will get moved by the time the season starts.
Yo, and honestly, you're not even wrong. Let's say that when Kyrie comes back, you can still start Colin Sexton at the 2. That's more than okay. And then you have Clay, the combination of either Clay, Najee, or PJ be that 6 off the bench.
I say all that to say I think the Spurs won a draft. I think they were clear winners of it.
100%. There's no way around that.
This draft haul for them made me drop my jaw and go, my goodness, this is going to be a scary team. Like, this is like long-term wise, and they have more assets. They have more picks in that treasure chest. They are building around a star player exactly how you're supposed to build around a star player. Like, this has been great. Like, I love what they did.
And it's funny because, of course, whether he likes it or not, he's always going to be compared to LeBron. Now, I saw this tweet a little bit ago, and they were saying, oh, Wemby's so generational that his team has gotten the 2nd and the 4th overall pick. That was funny. I did laugh. Year one to expect the most out of them, I think, they're just trolling, but he got injured. And honestly, we are going to look back on that if you're a Spurs fan and think this was beneficial for us because we super lucked into the second best player in this draft. And if Cooper Flagg wasn't in, obviously we're talking about the best player available. This Spurs team is going to benefit a lot from the 2 years early in his career of them not being great. Early with LeBron, it was almost immediate success where also on top of it, they didn't have fortunate draft luck, but they weren't getting great draft players. They weren't getting great players in the draft. The Spurs, in what it seems, back-to-back drafts, have hit it out of the park. And like you said, they're doing a great job of building around their franchise player. I also do believe that there's multiple things that played a factor in this. I thought that they got a great return for DeJounte Murray. They traded him at the perfect time. And, of course, hindsight is so crystal clear 2020. That move's continuing to pay dividends. And then, of course, acquiring De'Aaron Fox without giving up your plethora of assets that you had on top of that, too. You got him for basically picks that don't mean anything to you. That's where you look at the franchise and think, wow, this is 100% the right way to do it. When, of course, when it came to LeBron, it just seemed like the front office was failing him. Spurs are going to be amazing. Obviously, they are winners. For me, the team that I have to shout out is going to be the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, when they traded Kevin Durant, of course, people were throwing jokes at them because Jalen Green was the big player that they got out of it. But, of course, pick 10 was also very important. They needed a big. And I think that after the conclusion of the tourney, we saw Molly Watch draft stock drop. I feel like early on they had him like a top 3, top 5 lock player because, of course, all the great assets, how many tools he has as not just a defender, but of course around the rim, being a great lob threat, being a great screener. You were able to go ahead and have his draft stock take a hit, and other players' draft stocks obviously rise, and you finesse Molly Watch at the 10th overall pick. You had a huge hole on your team at the big position, and in one night, you don't have that problem anymore because you got Molly Watch and you got Mark Williams. That is a beautiful combination of defense and offense. And if you don't have Molly Watch on the court and you have Mark Williams, all right, now you're getting one of the better younger offensive bigs in the league when he is healthy, and Mark Williams, especially after what we saw last season. And then Molly Watch, obviously the imposer, the anchor that he can be defensively. I thought the Suns did an excellent job last night, and I think that they were doing themselves a huge positive for the future in building around Devin Booker. I understand everybody's going to throw trolls out. They have 4 guards, shooting guards, still no point guard. But this was a step in the right direction. You needed to clear up that defense, and that's 1,000% what they've done with Dylan Brooks, Ryan Dunn, and Molly Watch. Those are actually 3 defenders that you 100% respect. Now it's just a matter of getting a lead guard, and I think that's coming soon.
There's no point guard nowadays for the most part that's a true point guard and a true facilitator. They're all scoring guards that can sprinkle in playmaking. And I just didn't think at the 10th overall pick there was any available that made sense for the Suns. And they do need a big. I thought Watch, the fact that he was there at 10, it was the biggest steal of the draft. A player that talented who on many boards was a top 3 prospect because of what he could turn into eventually. To get him at 10 was the picture perfect scenario, because if he was not there, the Suns would have had to swing for a wing player or a reach on a point guard. So I thought that Watch was picture perfect. They got Mark Williams as well. And then tonight, they're going to hone in on Rasheer Fleming and draft him. This is a Suns team that a couple weeks ago was dead in the water. They got Asian players. They have bad contracts, and they still have one of those. They have a very bad contract, the worst in the NBA. But they have replaced Kevin Durant, and they have added a ton of young talent. The only young talent they had last year was Ryan Dunn, who I thought Ryan Dunn looked pretty good, and I think he'll be a good role player in the league for a long time. But you added 23-year-old Jalen Green. You added 23-year-old Mark Williams. You added Malawach, who's 19, 20 years old. You're going to add Rasheer Fleming. I mean, they're adding a lot of young talent to this team to where they might not have those first-round picks that they own, but they have young players on this team that they can have optimism that will develop one day into one of the better players in their position. So I thought they managed the draft and managed their assets pretty well, and I think how aggressive they've been, especially trading back up into the second round and trading up, because they did have late second-round picks. They had one that was the 36th pick, but to go get the first pick in the second round, because they know who their guy is, I think is great. And this team doesn't get enough credit for how well they do with scouting. They drafted Toumani Camara. They traded him to go get Yusuf Nurkic and Grayson Allen, and he was featured in an Ayton trade. But they have shown that they can find talent later in the draft. Ryan Dunn, Camara. So I'm not ruling it out with them and how well they can maybe develop these late round guys.
Yeah, the Suns have been busy. On my notes, best team fit, I had Malawach to the Suns or to the Raptors. Him at 10 was perfect. I had them taking Carter Bryant because I didn't think Malawach would be there at 10.
I thought his floor was 9 with the Raptors.
Yeah, I thought it was either going to be Raps or the Suns. I genuinely thought those were the two spots. Those are the only spots that made sense to me. Toronto for their developmental process. He can learn behind Jakob Poeltl. And then Phoenix, they just need a 5. So go slide over there. Them getting Mark Williams means you don't have to, play Malawach a ton of minutes, because I still think he's a little bit raw, but I think the potential is there. Phoenix has been good. I think them being aggressive today or yesterday was important because, like you mentioned, they have a bit of an aging roster. They have guys like Royce O'Neal who's still in the roster. Devin Booker, what are you going to do with him and stuff like that? They brought in Jalen Green. Bradley Beal is still in the roster. So Nick Richards, like we were talking about outside, he's still in the roster.
It's just so crazy to me. Beal's on the team for at least 2 more years.
And they had an offer for, I think it was to Utah for 2 players. I think it was John Collins and somebody else. And Beal said no.
Of course he did.
Beal is completely handicapping this
Washington
team. And
ruined Bradley
real
Beal's
shit, I'm not even mad at you,
perception.
Beal. It's your 50.
No,
you don't want to go to
1000%.
Utah? Don't go to Utah.
I agree.
I wouldn't want to go to Utah either.
They're thinking about buying him out at this point, which, I mean,
You got to pay the whole thing.
I think that the Suns' next move,
No, that's cap suicide.
Yeah.
they're going to trade Royce O'Neal or Grayson Allen next, for sure. They need to get under the second apron because they're still over
Probably
the second
Grayson.
apron.
Grayson's at 16.
Either one of those players, I think that even if you want to trade both, they could, and they could get maybe a point guard.
Get a good return for Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen's still one of the best shooters in the
Absolutely.
league.
So I think that the Suns have a good pathway forward, and maybe this is crazy to say, but I thought last night when they drafted Malawach with the 10th overall pick, the first thought that went into my head was, this ensures Devin Booker's on the Suns for life. He's not going nowhere.
Malawach is that piece for you?
He's not going nowhere.
I don't know if it gave me that thought.
I saw that pick and I said, if he blossoms like how I think he could blossom and how he could develop.
You called him Shaq on the porch.
I think that, you look at his highlights, it is very Shaq-like.
Nuts.
His highlights. But I know he has some developmental things with him.
Shaq
he
is
still
crazy.
he still bobbles
Shaq's
the ball. He doesn't have excellent hand-eye coordination.
He just started playing ball 3-4 years ago.
Exactly, but I'm looking at his Suns team that, Dylan Brooks is a starter.
Yes.
And Jalen Green, there's an easier pathway for him to be an all-star than someone like Derek White. I think that Jalen Green actually has a talent.
You don't even
to do
believe
it.
that.
Jalen Green actually has a talent to do.
Yo, you really don't believe that.
Whoa! You're putting 2 of my guys against each other. What do you mean he actually has the talent to do that?
Why are you letting him get away with this?
I'm not letting him get away with it. Derek White is talented as hell.
I think Derek White's a better fit for teams than Jalen Green. Jalen Green is a much more talented player.
He's completely flipped on Jalen Green.
No, I don't know what's going on right now, honestly. My brain's messed
Do you
up.
think Derek White's more talented than Jalen Green?
You just said Bradley Beal was better than Jalen Green.
He was an all-star multiple times.
A minute ago.
Yo, Riv, let me talk to you transparently and honestly, bro. I hate the word talent. I hate it. It allows you to get away with saying some bad things.
Yeah.
So you think Derek White's more talented than Jalen Green?
No, I think Derek White right now is better at basketball.
That's why Kuminga still thinks
it's the
he
only
can
thing
get 100
that matters. Exactly. Kuminga has so much talent. What has it transpired into?
So Is Derek White better at basketball than Dylan Harper right now?
That's a weird ass.
Yes.
Who's more talented?
I don't care. I haven't seen Dylan Harper play in the NBA.
Not you using Dylan. It's obviously Dylan.
That's a distinction.
He's a top two
I'd
pick.
rather take Dylan Harper because he's more talented and he could grow into a better player.
Also younger.
I think Jalen Green is more talented than Derek White. He's just not consistent at all.
Talent
but
is
he's more
something.
talented. You're not going to tell me that Jalen
Hey, you're
Green's...
not going to talk to me who I watch him in the highlights. It's like I'm watching Michael Jordan except in
He's more talented
2025.
because he could jump higher.
Are Jalen Green's highs
Stop.
higher than Derek White?
The finishing at the rim
Are
too.
Jalen Green's highs higher than Derek White?
Yes. Easy.
In the regular season, yes.
Easy.
Yeah.
No. But that. Whoa.
In the regular
Game
season, yes.
2, first round. Stop.
Derek
Not
White has a
pretend like
few
it didn't
moments in the
exist.
playoffs.
It was 38 on like 8 threes. Relax. It
One
happened. Game 2, you just said the playoffs. There's like it happened.
All right, Derek White's a champion.
However, Jalen Green's peak, good point. That's a 50, 40, 90 player. 28 points per game.
How many games?
He did that for a month.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking.
You saw
Okay.
what he did with Steven Adams setting screens.
Yo.
He had a couple months like that, to be fair. January was electric,
Mm-hmm.
and March was firm basketball.
Okay.
Jalen
this is not
Green
me.
with
This is
Steven Adams on the court.
Wow.
His
no,
points
do this.
per game jumped up plus
Like,
5.
yeah.
And his
Cook.
his
hate those
efficiency
numbers.
You were
jumped
getting
up.
fried.
Who?
You.
No, I hate those numbers.
You were getting
because
fried.
it's legitimately a guess.
No, it's actually solid. It makes sense.
It's a guess as fuck.
No, what's a guess?
to
You go
assume-
and you're averaging 5 more points.
No.
2% more
No, no, no,
efficient
no, no.
on 5 extra
No.
points. No, that's a difference.
And now imagine
it's a
what
guess to
Malawach
just
at his best to do
assume
that.
Malawach is just as strong as Steven
Mark
Adams.
will.
It's just, oh, God.
He can't set screens?
Like Steven Adams?
No one can.
That's the fucking picture is.
Yeah, but like he got 2 bigs now.
It's per 75 possessions. It's such a
2 bigs now. You got 2 bigs now.
Hey, listen.
Sengun's a great screener.
I'm just saying the Suns,
What you mean?
Is Sengun a great screener?
he's good. He's all right.
He's all right.
He's not as physical as
Adams.
Steven Adams.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
nobody's
Malawach
Adams.
is a much bigger body. He's 7'2". He could Malawach. He can learn how to be one of the best
That's
screeners
not
in
how
the
you.
league.
Screening is not about how tall you are.
It's
It's about
strength.
your girth and it's
He's
about
got-
positioning.
nah,
That's
big
why
girth.
Bam is
Malawach
one of the best
has that.
screeners.
Malawach can do that.
You don't even know that.
Yes, I do.
Mal-
Because his
Malawach's a
2-man game with
body.
Con Kneppel at Duke was amazing.
Concanepo just does things, man.
So does Kaman. Come on, Kaman.
No,
come on.
no, I think what he means is so does Jalen Green. Jalen Green can do things with the ball in his hands.
I'm just saying.
I have no
overall,
dog in his
the
fight.
Suns are not in no
pissing me
man's
off.
land
He's
anymore.
on Phoenix. I don't care.
I feel like the Suns are adding some serious young talent to this team. And hey, of course, you got to hit on these picks. But I think if the darts fall where they may, Devin Booker's looking at a competitive team.
This is why I say there's still. Wait,
While you think, I'm just gonna let you know, I agree with Joel.
I don't want to sound rude, so I'm trying to pick and choose my words.
If this is about Jalen Green, I'm gonna get
This
mad.
has nothing to do with Jalen Green. Well, I lied, but this is not what you think it is. They're not in the dark days. I don't think they're in the dark days,
No.
but there's still skepticism
I
because,
understand.
like you mentioned, they have to hit. Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Fitz still walkie, still don't have a point guard. Who's your coach? Stuff like that. What's the foundation? Dylan Brooks, good starter, I agree. They don't have an identity. Still have to figure that part out. Mark Williams, Charlotte didn't want him. What is he going to look like now? It's still a lot of skepticism. Plus, it's the West. It's the wild, wild West.
Yeah.
There's teams like
Tough.
you mentioned, the Spurs, Dallas. We're thinking that they should be much better than what they were last year. You know what I'm saying? You got Houston. They just got Kevin Durant. OKC and all them, and them old teams are still going to be around. So it's still the wild, wild West, where I don't want to say the dark days. Did they have a good draft? Yes, I agree. I think they've made the proper moves that they needed to make. We didn't think they could make these moves, and they did make these moves.
Who's we?
Well, you did. So I'll say that. But I still want to wait and see because I still think
I mean,
it's skepticism.
worst case scenario, Devin Booker
Gets traded.
doesn't make it out the first round again with the Suns and is heralded like Tracy McGrady in his career. I mean, clearly getting out the first round doesn't matter like that.
He made it to the finals. He's already past Tracy.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
has this
So
Tracy McGrady
He's
thing.
past
that's
Tracy.
what I'm saying. Devin
Ooh.
Booker, he could not have another playoff series win again and still be heralded because clearly McGrady did that. He was 0 for 6 in the first round.
I'm
when he
done
was at
with
his
this
best.
McGrady.
I
I'm done,
don't know if
man.
that's a fact.
What about McGrady or
The
and,
D
and,
Book
and Book?
Tracy. I don't know if that's a
D-Book's
fact.
one of the best scorers in NBA
is T-Mac.
history.
Why
was
isn't Devin Booker over Tracy McGrady?
I don't think it's a comfortable. Like I have to sit and think.
Let's
on
look
that.
at the playoff numbers.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know if Booker's a better player though. Like I'll have to sit and think on that one.
Like realistically, 3-level scoring. Devin
It's
Booker.
close.
Devin Booker's incredible.
They're both incredible.
No, 100%.
It's
I'm
close.
not trying to minimize McGrady in this aspect. I'm legitimately saying, like, Devin Booker's post work is great. His ability to get downhill is great.
T-Mac. You're describing T-Mac.
You're not wrong. You're not
I get it. The
wrong.
playoff shit, though.
You're
you
not-
got
the
like,
playoffs,
the playoff
no
shit, you
doubt.
got it.
240 balls in the finals.
Yeah, the playoff shit.
You're not
D-Book-
wrong.
D-Book-
Tracy did have an insane day.
D-Book is comfortably better in the playoffs. I'm not going to disagree with that. But just like
Better
regular
playmaker.
season, that's close. T-Mac was a really good playmaker.
D-Book good?
Yeah, it's not. No
D-Book
offense.
basically playing a hybrid one.
No offense to D-Book. It's not that hard to be
I
D-Book
hate when
good.
you do this.
No
man.
offense. No offense. That's close, though. That's a good conversation. Shout out to Suns, though. You're very excited.
They're doing good, yeah.
They are doing good. I don't want to diminish nothing they're doing. They're doing good.
I'm more excited for Jess right now.
I can't see that.
I am.
I think you're
I'm
more excited for you.
No, I'm more excited for Jess.
I think
that
you're
the
back
Suns
on
are
Phoenix.
looking
This kind of
good.
sounds like me with Miami when I'm like, yeah, too. I love him because, yo, shout out to my dad. You know,
Yeah,
like big
but it's
Dolphins
like big
fans,
cat.
but like, we know.
You're back on Phoenix.
Who's
Bro,
your
we
winner?
here.
My winner is going to be the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah,
They
they
made
did
one
good.
selection. They made one selection. It's Asa Noel. I think he's a good player, energy guy, 6'10", 6'11", long arm, big, bit of a rim runner. But it's what they did to essentially acquire. Like, honestly, they didn't have to do anything. The Hawks traded. They traded back 10 spots. New Orleans sent them an unprotected 2026 first rounder, which is the highest between New Orleans and the Milwaukee Bucks of next year. That has a lot of value. We don't know what Milwaukee's going to look like.
Fair.
Do they eventually trade Giannis? What if Giannis misses a ton of games and tank? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if the team's just not good? What if New Orleans gets injured again and they're not good?
Please, God,
You know
no.
what I'm saying? God willing, of course.
no.
But, you know, basically Atlanta got 10 spots back, probably got the guy they've always wanted because I feel like Asa Newell has been linked to Atlanta for a couple months now. And then they got a valuable 2026 first round pick. I think that stuff like that. Plus, you get to keep guys like Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson's coming back this year. I believe they're going to bring Karis LeVert back, Onyeka, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but they end up getting Kristaps Porzingis, which I think if he's healthy, that's really huge for that team. So Atlanta, a team that we thought was kind of going to be in that little middle ground, could be a sneaky team in the East, made a good selection, ended up getting a 2026 first round pick that they could dangle in a trade to bring in a star if they need to, or a high profile role player, a high level, low end all star of that value. So for me, I think Atlanta definitely aced the draft because they really didn't have to do much. That pick really fell into their lap. I feel like New Orleans called them and they didn't. They was like, all right, shit, we'll get it. And then they got Asa Newell, who I think is going to be a good player.
Last pick in the teens that I want to talk about that I really loved was Jace going to the Orlando
That was
Magic.
one of my winners
25?
too.
Oh, facts. No, the fact that Jace was able to fall to the Magic at that spot, that is a player exactly that the Magic needed. A point guard that could shoot the ball at an insane clip the way that he can, off the catch, off the dribble. He can do either which way. Solid playmaker. I guess the one thing you could talk about is his defense, but even still, that's a work in progress. I thought that was one of the best value picks of the first round. I talked about when we did our mock when P was on the show a few weeks ago. I really liked him as a prospect. I thought he went to the perfect destination. He's gonna get burned off that bench, and again, because of the need at three-pointer, because of the need for the three ball in Orlando, and on top of the fact they still do need a point guard, I think that was an obvious
They
match
just
made in
traded
heaven.
Cole, so that was dope too.
No, for sure.
I think that Jace went to the perfect team because he's a smaller guard. He's 6 foot with like a 6'4", he's 6 foot with a 6'6" wingspan, if I'm not mistaken, close to the 6'1". And he's gonna be a small guard, and even if he tries on defense, it's gonna be a mismatch. But Orlando has the bodies in place to mask that, and he is exactly what they need offensively, just with how well he could shoot the ball. Jace last season with Michigan State, 41% from three,
Amazing.
but he shot 46% on his catch and shoot jump shots. So he could play off the ball, I think, in a much better fashion than Cole Anthony can, and he can be hyper efficient. And I think just their offseason of adding Desmond Bane and Jace Richardson was just A+ in terms of needs and what you needed for the team.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think if Jace Richardson was in a draft last year, he would have been a top 10 pick. If Reed Shepard went 3rd overall, if Rob Dillingham went with the 8th pick, I mean, I don't see why Jace couldn't be a top 10 pick in the draft.
Makes you wonder.
So think about it.
No, I'm with you.
The Magic essentially drafted a player that would have been a top 10 pick last year.
We're here.
I
we
agree with
are
you.
with
I
you.
agree
we
with
just
you.
laughed
Yeah.
at a name you said. It was
No,
Rob
it's
Dillingham?
just the minute you go Reed Shepard, Rob Dillingham, me and Riv immediately
yeah, we
look
just
at
look
each
like
other.
interesting. Another winner I would like to say is not a player, is a person. Cedric Howard, man. I want to just talk about his story a little bit. Just going from a Division III basketball school where he was paying $25K a year to go to. Then he ended up at Eastern Washington in the Big Sky. Played a sophomore year, played 34 games. Then he played 32 games, got a jump in minutes at 31 minutes. Averaged 15 a game with 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Ends up transferring to Washington State, a place where Jalen Wells went to. Jalen Wells was on the Memphis Grizzlies last year. Senior year, only played 6 games. This guy only played 6 games, averaged 18 and 7, showed a lot of promise, ends up being drafted. Not only drafted in the top 20, a team trading up for him. Being a lottery pick, I think that right there deserves winners for. I thought it was a good pick for Memphis because he was one of the teams I mocked him to. I thought he'd fit right into Memphis culture. But just for him to go through that journey, kind of same thing with Jalen Wells, and be able to understand like his ability and to be able to work hard and believe in himself. Only playing 6 games, and he still was, he went 11? I think they traded up for him to be 11 or 12. So, shout out to Cedric Howard. And then Thomas Sobor is another winner for me. Going to OKC, I thought that was elite because now, you have your perfect Isaiah Hartenstein replacement. I think defensively, him next to Chet is going to be a monster. And I think offensively, he can give you some things in the post. He's a good rebounder. He understands spatial awareness. He knows when to convert putbacks. He's very good at contesting rebounds. He's a willing shooter. He's not a good shooter, but he's willing. And, if he's willing, you can work on that. But I just think, for him, his age, he really is a just extremely talented big that has a lot of tools in his game. And I think for OKC, grabbing him was huge.
Can I ask you a question? Because you mentioned trading not trading, the next Isaiah Hartenstein replacement.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Thunder try and move Isaiah Hartenstein this offseason?
Maybe not this one, but I think second apron starts to call your name. And like Brad Stevens said yesterday, he was like, he didn't realize it was that bad until he was staring at the second apron and they had to make moves. This shit is legit. It's for real. And until it catches up to you, you don't really know it. I think for OKC,
you got one more year with him, you're saying?
Yeah, and plus there's a team option. His team option's next offseason at $30 million.
This is his final year. If the Thunder want to decline his team option after this upcoming season, it's going to happen.
That's pretty great.
And I think Chet's going to get paid. J-Dub's going to get paid. SJ is going to get an extension. So you're going to have to start looking more into these rookies that are going to be a lot cheaper. That's all.
Do you think – I think I say that mostly because obviously he is making 30.
Yeah.
I think that he still does have a good amount of value in this league. But making 30, does that make teams a little bit hesitant to try and make a move for a big like that? What would his value be? Would they be able to get some that would be – let me not say equal to him, but you can get a young piece, a young center that you're not paying now $30 million to Isaiah Hartenstein. You still have a big off the bench that you can go to. You mentioned drafting Sorber. I agree with you. I thought that was a great selection. But is that the smarter route because these big contracts are looming over your head, or would you rather just wait the season?
I think Hartenstein got overpaid because the Thunder had a plethora of cap space. I don't think that he's going to get paid $30 million on the open market. I think he's more of like a $20 million center. Basically what Daniel Gafford just got with Dallas, I think that's kind of his market. Even though I think he's slightly better than Daniel Gafford, but same kind of tier of centers. I think OKC just drafted him, Thomas Sorber, that being, to be the long-term option after Hartenstein. And just to add size, I think he's ready to play right now, but he's probably going to sit a year. And I can't just say enough how much I love this pick. He's 6'9", so he's undersized, but he has a 7'6" wingspan. So he has very long arms, and he has
J-Dub.
9'1" standing reach.
Jesus Christ.
Georgetown was 18.6 points better on defense with him on the court. He's somebody that, he can turn around your defense, and OKC added an elite defender to an already all-time elite defense. So I think this just gives OKC options. If they want to pay Shea, J-Dub, and Chet, which we all know that's what they want to do, that's their goal, then these other role players are going to have to get cut. And that's Hartenstein. They paid Caruso and have him on an extension. So it's players like Hartenstein, it's players like Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins who they're both making $10 million each per year, so it's not a lot of money. But it's those players, those role players. It's a potentially a Lou Dort as well.
Yeah.
Like those players that are on the bubble where they want to keep their big three, and everybody else as they pay those guys. Those are going to be the guys that end up going in the long run.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what they do.
Cedric Howard was a good shout though, because I feel like his ceiling is potentially like what Desmond Bane brought to them. If Cedric Howard could develop into like the best version of himself, he's 6'5" with a 7'2" wingspan. So, I mean, he's the same height as Desmond Bane, but he has much longer arms, and he can defend. He can shoot. He shot 40% from three in like all his years in college.
Crazy pull, but he reminds me of Luol Deng with a jump shot.
Like, that would be a great get, and we know that they needed a two guard. Like, after trading away Bane, they got KCP.
Because Wells is locked. 3.
Yeah, but KCP is not like the long-term answer. So I think Cedric Howard's good, and he bloomed in a small school. He didn't play that many games this past season, but he has the tools, and he really stood out in the combine when they measured him, and they were like, wow, he's 6'5", with a 7'2" wingspan. All the athletic measurements checked out for him, and that's why he became an even more intriguing prospect at that spot.
I will say KCP going to Memphis, I think that he's going to get a lot more easier looks than he did in Orlando. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a great season next year.
Also, like the toughness he brings too. I feel like that's what they've been vying for.
Mm-hmm.
A veteran that can bring that. I thought they thought they were going to get it in Marcus Smart. They didn't. I feel like KCP kind of brings that like dog mentality, champion. Just been everywhere.
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
won twice. Been everywhere. Played with some greats. You know, just bringing in that veteranship. I think Memphis was lacking in that. That's what made them prior, and I feel like he can come in and he could definitely help them with that.
You're moved on Memphis?
Moved in terms of what?
I don't know, man. You've been very high on Memphis in the past, and I'm just curious.
But they definitely won't have a better record than the Spurs.
I'm openly delusional about Memphis, and that's
Memphis or Spurs next year?
Memphis.
Mavs. Really?
I'm really high on the Mavs.
Me too.
That's his
I'm
team.
Curious.
No.
That's his new team now, the Mavs.
You're a Mavs fan?
Why'd you believe him?
I just can't root
Did
for
you see
Nico
me make a new
Harrison,
tweet?
man.
I mean, he did say that he will go wherever Cooper Flag goes.
He's cooking.
I will go watch him. I ain't a Mavs fan though.
I'm gonna watch a ton of Mavs games.
Me and Mason been talking though. We've been texting. Like,
Do you think Mavs fans are willing to let bygones be bygones with me? And
No, they hate you.
They hate me still.
Yeah.
Should I reach out to Mason? I know Mason and I were bros. Mason and I are cool.
He got to check in with the fan base.
I don't know if the rest of Mavs, what is it, MFFL?
Well, I mean, listen,
I don't know if they rock with me like that.
It doesn't matter. The internet is fickle. You say something good about the Mavericks,
let's poll it.
They'll
Mavericks
like
or
you
Spurs?
again tomorrow.
You're not wrong.
So if you say something bad, they're gonna hate you again. But if you say something good, they'll like you.
You're gonna put that on there. Is Drew valid with MFFL?
I was gonna put Mavericks or Spurs.
For what?
For
Who's
next
gonna be
year.
better?
Yeah.
All right, I'm cool with that too.
Oh, you're putting that poll on your Twitter?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll just be putting up
The Mavericks will
polls
probably
we be talking
win.
about.
I would not be surprised. I'd be more surprised if the Spurs won. But then that would mean that more people would think like me. So I'd be surprised if it was like that, actually.
You would actually hate it that way.
So Kasparis Jakushonis to the Heat. That's one of the picks that I liked the most. Getting him at pick 20, he can pass the heck out of the ball.
Good value.
He turns the ball over a lot, but he was Illinois' offense like the entire time.
Yep.
I just think that the Heat desperately needed a table setter and a playmaker. And I think that's what Jakushonis brings to Miami. I think the backcourt of Tyler Hero and Kasparis is athletically limited, to say the least. And I think defensively
That's
they're going to
food?
have
You ever been
some
to a
problems.
buffet? Think of a buffet with everything.
But the Heat are in a position where they need to draft BPA, and that's what Kasparis was, and he feels a major need for them at point guard. And Kendrick Perkins mentioned this on a broadcast for ESPN that the Heat are interested in Jonathan Kuminga.
You see
Are we bringing the Wigs back? Yo, bring
That
the
would
vibes
move
back.
mountains.
That's all I need.
Would you cry?
Yes.
I get it.
I have a real emotional attachment to Andrew
I
Wiggins
get it.
2022.
Andrew Wiggins, what he did for Steph Curry, I would love him like a
I
brother.
love him. Like
Did he save his legacy?
he helped.
No, he definitely helped enhance his legacy.
He helped more than Harrison fucking
I wouldn't
Barnes.
say he saved his legacy because Steph in the 22 run was
He was great.
incredible.
And then the finals.
No, he was.
But Wiggins helped.
otherworldly.
If we had Wiggins instead of if we had Wiggins plug in for 2016 Barnes, we win. We don't choke.
2016 Barnes couldn't shoot the ball.
That's my fucking point. He was awful.
It was a much more high pressure environment, though.
Wiggins high pressure. We know what he does.
Yo,
I mean,
Shane
yeah.
Battier, Andrew Wiggins.
I'm not taking nobody over Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins.
Easy?
Easy.
Easy?
Just 20. We just talking just 2022?
Yeah,
made
No,
an
without
All-Star
a
game.
doubt, I think it's
Yeah.
Wiggins.
Yeah, Wiggins.
Shane Battier gave me some moments as a
Battier
Heat
is
fan,
amazing.
man.
He's a good player.
Honestly, an
Amazing
exceptional role player.
defender.
Listen, if
I
they-
mean,
If
unbelievably
they call
good.
the phone and they're like, "Yo, Kuminga Wiggins swap," yes,
Yeah, I mean that's easy though.
yes, bring him back next to Jimmy. Come
What
on.
if it cost you 2 firsts?
No.
Yeah,
We don't got too
I'm
many
just
of those.
wondering.
We
I'm
need
just
those.
wondering. I just
We
want
need
to see how
those.
far he would
Shane
go.
Battier's been with some good teams. He played with
Houston.
Yao Ming, Luis Scola,
Marc
Rafir
Gasol.
Alston, Tracy McGrady. They still
Kyle
couldn't make it out
Gasol.
this first round.
Why do you keep doing this, Tracy?
Huh?
McGrady
No,
thing?
I'm just saying. I mean, couldn't make it past the
I'm
first round.
fine with this Tracy McGrady slander when it's
I don't
next to
think
Kobe Bryant. Though.
Nobody at the table is a big Tracy guy. You know who is? OG, I think, is a big Tracy guy.
No, I talked to him.
Oh, he isn't?
Yeah.
Oh.
I talked to him. I actually texted him and I told him exactly how I felt.
Mhm.
And he was like, I agree with you, brother. He was like, it never made out the first round. You got to do that. You the star.
Yo, you got to do it once, bro. Like, once. Like, Melo did it once, twice.
He
twice.
went to WCF.
Yeah. but
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Bro, you gotta
like,
do it.
I know.
Yo, Melo or Tracy McGrady?
Melo.
Like, why are we gassing Tracy like this?
Tracy was nice.
I know that it's turned to like a Kobe
He's a
versus
hood
Tracy
legend.
McGrady thing. It's just, I just don't believe that you can be gifted hypothetical championships if you never made it out the first round. Like, I understand if you made it to the conference finals. Like, yeah, you were close. If you never made it out the first round, I can't gift you a couple hypothetical championships.
I saw a dude tell me Michael Finley would have plugged in the Kobe spot and won the ring with.
They're getting nasty. I mean,
I'm like, yo, Michael fucking Finley. good
2001
player.
and 2002, Kobe became Kobe.
Kobe
That
was
was
a
when
dog.
that was when he was MVP.
Can I give you the Mount Rushmore of not the GOATs, but like
Hypothetical.
the
good legends.
hypothetical hood legends?
Yeah, yeah.
All
AI's
right.
up there.
AI 1000%.
Hypothetical.
But AI better than
See, but that's
T-Mac.
why once you said hypothetical, I couldn't put
it
AI
can't be
in there.
hypothetical.
All right,
Yeah, AI.
Brandon Roy,
Valid.
Penny Hardaway,
Valid.
Tracy McGrady.
Yeah.
The,
D-Roy is
the fourth name is tough,
D-Roy is a respected
but the
hood
answer
legend.
without a doubt
D-Rose.
is D Rose.
Brandon Roy is just a legend, though.
He's a legend. He's a respected legend. Like, he don't come out and say, if I'd have did this, did that.
He's like
You know,
a what if.
No,
Like,
100%.
for
But
sure,
no, but
what if?
Tracy still like. If Tracy just never associated himself like, yo, you gave me Shaq.
Yeah, if he'd never said that,
like,
he'd been valid.
everybody respects Tracy.
That's a fact.
You just tried to put yourself in Kobe Bryant's shoes.
Like Tracy McGrady
he
never
did
had
tweak.
a career-ending injury at like 23 years old. Like Derrick Rose had a career ender in the ACL. Back then, it was more serious than it is now. But that essentially zapped a lot of his athleticism. Tracy McGrady was still like Tracy McGrady in Houston, and he had good teams.
But that was like a season.
He lost in the first round 3 times with them.
But I'm saying like when he
was
was
hurt the third
averaging, when he was dogging, like averaging the crazy points per game, he did that one season.
He won
his
2 scoring
first year.
titles.
No, he did. With the Magic, he averaged 32. I think he averaged 28 with the Magic also. His first year with the Rockets, he averaged 28.
He was playing with Yao Ming. His second
Yao Ming
scoring
was a
title
dog.
in Orlando, he led the Magic to the worst record in the league.
Yeah.
They were 21 and 61, I believe, that year.
Let me make
So
sure I'm not.
His-
biased.
Rose, man.
his second, he's actually, you know that
I'm sorry, man.
Trace McGrady is the only scoring champion to never make it out the first round in NBA history. He's
Really?
the only player in NBA history to lead the league in scoring and never make it out the first round. Nobody's ever done that. He's the only one.
Really?
He's the only one. And in the first round, when he was with the Rockets, they blew a 2-0 series lead to the Mavericks. They beat the Mavericks twice on the road, and then they lost the next couple of games, and they blew that series. The next year against the Utah Jazz, they were up 2-0, and he lost that series. He was quoted saying that, if I lose this series, it's on me. It's on me. He's like, we get out, it's on me if we lose. He lost, and then he was like crying after at the post game. I felt bad for him because clearly there was a lot of pressure on him. The only year the Rockets made it out the first round was when he got hurt. And I will say that was a what if, because I think if Tracy McGrady was healthy that year, the Rockets could have made the NBA Finals. They had Ron Artest, Shane Battier, Yao Ming, Luis Scola. That Rockets team took the Lakers, who won a championship that year, to 7 games, and Yao Ming only played the first 2 games of the series.
T-Mac didn't play that series?
No, he got hurt before the end of the season, and he had to have season-ending knee surgery.
So
that
of
Houston team was nice.
of the 5 seasons that he was fully with the Houston Rockets, he was a 3-time All-NBA player. He averaged 26, 24, 25, 22 in those years that he was the All-NBA. It was 26, 25, 22. The year he was an All-Star, but he wasn't All-NBA because he missed a decent amount of games. I think he only played 47 games. He still was giving you 24 again, but he wasn't scoring the way that he was in Orlando, but because he had help a little bit in Yao Ming.
Yeah, he started
Ming was
to.
a 23 and 12.
No,
guy.
Yao was a dog.
He
early.
started to decline. Like Tracy McGrady lost 2 rounds in Houston when he played with Yao Ming. Yao Ming played like the full series, still series. The first round loss, Yao Ming didn't play, and McGrady lost to the Jazz. That I think that year they made the conference finals and they ended up
lost to the
losing.
Lakers.
Yeah,
That was
I think they
D-Will
lost
and-
in the second round to the Lakers. I know in 06-07 the Jazz made the conference finals and they lost to the Spurs.
So the
And-
Spurs must have beat the Lakers that year.
Possibly. Oh, well, 06-07 the Lakers lost in the first round to the Suns.
Blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, and that's when 07-08 they got Paul Gasol, and then they went on 3 state championship runs. 2 of them they won a championship. But yeah, no, McGrady I think is an awesome player all time. Like I think he's a great player all time. It's just when they throw hypotheticals in there, like I think Kobe Bryant's mentality, his fourth quarter clutch scoring, although the statistic that shows that he's not good on buzzer beater shots, that's just one part of it. Like for the entirety of the fourth quarter from 2000 to 2002, Kobe Bryant was either second or number 1 in first and fourth quarter scoring. The only year he wasn't number 1, Allen Iverson was over him, and that was the 2000-2001 season. So Kobe Bryant, like, definitely was the go-to scorer for the Lakers in those moments, and I just don't think you can say that somebody could plug into that and just be that. Even with how exceptionally great Shaq was, because he was the guy at that time, but I think that it's a little bit disrespectful because in Game 7 in 2000 in the conference final, Shaq took 8 or 9 shots against the Blazers, and Kobe Bryant he had a double-double that game. I think he had 11 rebounds, he had 26 points, and he was the reason that they were able to stay afloat in that game. Like, the Blazers almost beat them. The Blazers were mad nice that year.
Mhm.
They were mad nice. So, and that was when Kobe Bryant didn't turn into Kobe yet, but he ascended in that run. Kind of like
Sabonis, Pippen,
Stoudemire.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
team.
That was like, I would say to compare it, that's like what J-Dub did in this run, like the leap he took. Obviously not the same thing because Kobe Bryant's on a different level, but like Kobe Bryant ascended himself and stamped himself with that playoff run. And then after that, the next 2 rings, he was like MVP
Like
level.
if Jamal Murray continued to be amazing after 2023.
And
type.
he was that way in the regular season.
That's
as
what
well.
I mean.
Yes.
Uh huh.
Yes. While being an all-league defender. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's been the opposite with Kobe. To where like after he's passed away, he's been trying to, like, people have been trying to push him outside the top 10. I feel like when Kobe Bryant retired, he was like one of the 6 best players ever. Like that's where people had him.
All these dick riders definitely wasn't talking shit like they are
I
now.
thought it was the other way around personally.
I didn't think he got elevated after he passed away.
When he passed away, I thought people were putting him in top 3 combos.
Maybe like the first year after his passing.
Yeah, facts.
But like
now,
He's definitely, for me, stamped top 10.
I think for the modern NBA fan that like has watched basketball from like the 2000s
just 10 better.
to now,
Are you going to name them old guys?
Kobe, LeBron,
I forget you hate
MJ.
Will.
Well, I mean, Magic called Kobe the greatest Laker ever.
I respect that opinion. Could be wrong.
I don't think Wilt's like top
But I
30.
think Kobe's better than Magic.
No.
I think he's an all-league defender.
Ah,
He's and one of the best scorers in the
I can't
history
put
of the
him over
game.
Magic. Man.
I don't hate it.
Magic play makes better than him,
By far.
Easily.
but
Better
Kobe
close.
scores better than him, and he defends way better than him.
Kobe better than Will. I'll tell you to fuck that.
Why are we doing Will like that, man?
Will not
For his
even-
era.
I mean, I respect. That's respect. But like, he only won 1 championship.
And is Kobe a better Laker all time than Kareem?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a Laker, yes.
Yes.
Just a Laker.
Uh-huh.
Just a Lake. Yes.
Okay.
Because he
How
got
many years was he with the Bucks though? 4.
he got the MVP in the ring
No,
with the Bucks.
I know
Yeah.
for a fact. But then he won his other 5 MVP.
But he wasn't the best player on all those 5 rings. He had Magic.
Okay, but he wasn't. Kobe wasn't the best.
That's why I was like the
Agreed.
same. So you got to like.
But that's why I say Kareem is also top 3 all time.
Yeah.
Kareem played his first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons with the Bucks.
6. Thank you.
Then the
How
rest,
many MVPs with the Bucks?
2. I'm guessing.
3.
That's
Yeah,
half
He had
Oh.
3 MVPs with the
Okay,
Lakers.
so 2 more than Kobe with the Lakers.
Yeah.
I just feel like,
Same amount of
To-
championships with the Lakers.
I think Kobe got more NBA.
like,
teams
bro,
than the Lakers,
to
but-
win those championships with Shaq and to everybody diminish your role in it,
You're 1,000% right.
and
here.
then for you to get Paul Gasol traded to the Lakers, and Paul Gasol is a great player, but that wasn't like you're adding an MVP level player to the team. But he was a
you're
Hall of
getting an
Famer.
All NBA player.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paul
How's
Gasol's
All
awesome.
NBA? Like,
Yeah.
But they're
I respect you for saying MVP
He tried
level,
it a little bit.
but
but
they're
like
his-
he's definitely All NBA.
Yeah, I know, but every star at that time in the West had an All NBA player next to them.
LeBron?
In
No,
the
he said
West.
the
In the
West.
West.
Apologize.
You know, they had an All-NBA player next to them. Like, for Kobe Bryant to finally get help, and when he finally gets help, go to 3 straight NBA Finals and win 2 of them, and one of them, like the Magic one, they were a better team. But to beat the Celtics, the super team Celtics in 7, they were down 3-2, and to win those next 2, that was phenomenal.
Did the Spurs really have another player next to
Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili.
But
What year?
MVP, you're saying?
What year?
After 04, after 05, definitely those two were.
Oh yeah, they were.
Those
legit.
You
two were
said MVP. Am I
dudes.
wrong? Or like
Tony Parker wasn't MVP.
Wait,
No.
no, I'm saying All NBA caliber players. Tony Parker for sure.
Because I'm thinking 09, 010, or excuse me.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't know.
Then what was that? Chris Paul, Darren Williams. I know he might. Steve Nash.
Steve Nash has Stoudemire.
Kid. No, were you just saying All NBA point guard?
What about
No, I say All NBA players.
what about the Mavericks?
Oh,
the Mavericks? They had Dirk, and then they had Steve Nash at first with
Michael
Dirk.
Finley.
But Steve Nash wasn't that great with the Mavs, no?
And then when they got
He
Sean
wasn't
Marion, but
what
that
he
was later.
was.
When he won a championship, no, there was another All NBA player next to him.
Correct.
That's one of the best runs of all time.
Mhm.
You know, and I think it was a great moment for Dirk because before then he wasn't viewed like he's viewed now.
Mm-hmm.
Like before then he couldn't really get over the hump and he lost in 06.
But like when I think of that era and those top teams in the West, I obviously think about the Lakers, I think about the Spurs, I think about the Mavericks, I think about the Suns. Those are the 4 teams that come to my mind.
Now, Utah was up there.
From 2000
Utah had Darren and Boozer,
yeah.
so
from
that's valid.
2008 to 2010, the Lakers come to my mind for sure.
Yeah,
The Spurs come to my mind for sure.
definitely.
The Suns come to my
You
mind
have
for
to.
sure in
Mhm.
one of those years.
Mhm.
Not in 2009, but in
Mhm.
2010, 2008 for sure.
Yep.
The Jazz, when Darren Williams, Carlos Boozer, Andre Kirilenko, Mehmet Okur was like a stretch 5 that was really
Mhm.
good for them too. They had Paul Millsap coming off the bench.
Lonnie Brewer.
But like
They
the
were
Hornets
very
had
talented.
Chris Paul and David West.
They were
as
solid
the
though. They weren't like winning.
I
They
Yeah,
were
the
solid.
Hornets, they were just really
They were a
spearheaded by
tough
Chris
first round
Paul.
team.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Rockets who were very talented, but 2009 is just when they got hurt and they just couldn't get over the hump that year, 08, 09, because McGrady got hurt and Yao Ming got hurt at the first 2 games of the series against the Lakers. The Rockets lost that year, and then that's when Ron Artest went to LA, and then he teamed up with
Power
Kobe.
move.
Ron was moving
Definitely.
a lot in his career.
He was, but no, the West was stacked back then. It was super stacked. It was very hard to make deep playoff runs in the West. I'll be honest, like it was exceptional, but like those Lakers
Shit,
teams,
Memphis started to come up too.
yeah, those
I mean, it
Lakers
seems like
teams,
there was only 2 teams that made continuous deep playoff runs.
like
It was
those
the Lakers and the Spurs.
those Lakers teams, I will say, like they were great teams. They weren't like overpowering teams. Like they weren't flipping the scale.
Oh, another one. The Nuggets.
Oh yeah,
They were
for
good.
sure.
There was
Yeah,
no
The
overpowering.
Spurs didn't even make the conference finals when the Lakers went to the championships. In 2010, it was the Nuggets. In 2009, 2010 it was the Suns. 2009 it was the Nuggets.
Yeah,
And in 2008,
was that Utah year?
Utah was a year before.
You sure? Oh, let me
check.
Yeah, check.
Let me check to get it right. Lakers.
Nah, there was no
2000.
overpowering teams in the West though. It was just you had a great player and your guys.
Because that's what I'm here thinking. Like
You had a guy. and
there
then-
was no
Okay.
over. It's just the Lakers did a terrible job
Yeah.
until they didn't of
'cause
building around Kobe
the
post
Spurs had the
Facts.
same big 3 and they just put role players
Yeah.
behind them.
07, 08, they beat the Spurs in the conference finals. They beat
Okay.
them 4-1. So they beat the Spurs, they beat the Nuggets, and they beat the Suns in the
It's a good
conference
collection.
finals.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So let me look at the just 2008 playoffs in the West, the first
I
round.
love how we went all the way this way.
The Jazz, the Rockets, the Spurs, the Suns, the Mavericks, the Nuggets, the Lakers, and the Hornets. Those were the top 8 in 2008.
Let
a
it be
good top
known,
8.
MFL Nation, they laughed at my poll. You're done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they laughed at my poll. He's seen it.
Mavericks fans. I love Mavericks fans. But no, listen, exceptional draft.
Losers.
We got into the winners, yes. Now we have
Please,
to get
I would
into the
love to
losers
start.
next. NBA draft losers, Rev. Who do you have as the loser?
The little brother team in New York.
Oof.
The baby bro. The team that always rebuilds and continues to lose. Let me stop being rude. The
Thank
Brooklyn
you.
Nets. It was hilarious. It was shocking. First of all, let's start from where they started. They jumped into the Porzingis trade, nabbed a pick out of it. We're all like 5 first-round picks in the first round. Never been done before. They have to be making a move, right? There's no way they're not making a move. They're definitely going to trade up. Ace Bailey comes out. Excuse me, Washington. Who we say? Washington, Nets. What was the third team? There was a third team he wanted to go to, but there was reports coming out that it was Washington, it was the Nets, and there was this third team that he did want to go to. Nets called Philly about their pick. Called Charlotte. Like you were expecting 5 first-round picks. You expect to move up. You do not expect the team to make 5 selections in the first round. So
even if they only have 4 roster spots,
yeah, I'll be dead ass. It doesn't like it. That just doesn't happen.
the Nets only have 4 guaranteed contracts on a roster.
It doesn't even matter. Like it does. You don't expect them to do that, especially when there's a blue chip prospect that you want. Right? They go into the draft and they go project. Did he come? Who? Drake Powell went before Danny Wolf?
Yeah, their picks were Ben Saraf, Jaeger Demin, Danny Wolf,
Ben,
Drake Powell, and Nolan Traore.
So they went project. Good player, solid player. I didn't like it. I felt like you needed to make a move to get into the top 5. I felt like for Brooklyn right now, you're sitting there, like you mentioned, 4 guaranteed rosters. You're probably going to bring back Cam Thomas. You don't have anything. You don't have any, like, when you think of a situation like Brooklyn, we've praised the fact that they have an insane amount of draft capital, that they've, understood the values of Mikal Bridges, got a lot of picks. Kevin Durant, Kyrie got a lot of picks and stuff like that. They don't have any young talent. Like, they have 0 young talent. They've been drafting late in the first rounds in Derek Whitehead, Noah Clowney, Day'Ron Sharp, Jalen Wilson, I believe, was a second rounder. He might have been undrafted. But they've been, outside of Cam Thomas, they haven't really hit on anything. And now you bring in Igor Demin, who have went from top 5 conversations to literally falling out the lottery, not out the lottery, but out the top 10 in most people's mocks. Then you bring up Ben Saraf, a guy who can't shoot, project player. Nolan Traore, another guy who was in top 5 conversations at the beginning of the year, completely fell, can't shoot. Another French player. Yeah, I believe he's French. Project. Danny Wolf, I think, is a good player. I also think you have Day'Ron Sharp. You're probably going to bring him back. You have Noah Clowney. You have Nicholas Claxton. You kind of already have a logjam at the big position. Drake Powell, I think, is a good player. I think he's a defensive-minded guy. He was one of my favorite prospects. I thought getting him was cool. You can put some wing defense out there. You have Cam Johnson. But I just felt like there was an unnecessary need to draft 5 first round, to draft 3 projects when you could have traded up. Unless there was no deal out there for you, which is probably going to be a report that came out. But for me personally, just the Nets, the way they went about it, it felt like they had a type, and they went about that type, and I don't like that type.
Can we ask the question? What are the legitimate chances they go 0 for 5? This is why I can't call them losers. I understand that some of the picks may have been questionable.
It's a chance.
I didn't like the Igor Demin pick as much as the next guy. That being said,
the draft
0 for 5?
I mean,
they're going to go 0 for 5? I find it hard to believe.
I think Danny Wolf is going to be a good player.
I mean, if you go 2 for 5, you lost.
No, you go 2 for 5, considering that in the NBA draft, it's hard to hit on guys, period.
No,
they gave themselves a way better chance to at least get 2 impact players.
I think that they had a clear philosophy. You mentioned it. I thought they just wanted unselfish, connective players, and that's what they drafted. And hey, you can criticize it as much as you want. Maybe none of these players flash that consistent scoring upside you need to take advantage of the playmaking. But Jaeger Demin has tools. He's 6'9". He can pass the ball. I think he's an elite passer. It's about getting him into those situations where he can take advantage of his passing. And if he can't score the ball, he won't be able to take advantage of that consistently. And I think that's the big red flag with him right now is, his comp right now is Josh Giddey. But I think that Josh Giddey is more athletic than him. So
probably.
Yeah, Jaeger Demin, he didn't play the best against better competition at BYU. But I don't know. I don't want to rule it out so much. I think the swing skill for him is shooting. If he can shoot the ball and learn how to shoot the ball well, he's going to be a 10-year player in the NBA.
100%.
But that's the swing skill with him. I don't think he has anything flashy to his game, but he has a feel for it. He can pass the ball, and I think the Nets just targeted that type of archetype. And there was a joke that went on Twitter that they're getting all these passes just to give Cam Thomas 30 shots a night.
They literally
just
said
to pass the ball
on
to him.
Twitter, this starting 5 wouldn't win in an NIT tournament.
Who said that? Talking about the
Yeah.
The
you
Nets?
know what the guys
the 5 they just
you know what
selected.
the NIT tournament
It's
is?
a hyperbole, though.
trolling.
Yo, it's the lower
They would
end of the
definitely
NCAA.
win. You think they wouldn't win?
I don't know.
Can you
Like,
respect Danny Wolf?
he's a good player.
But he's part of that 5.
I understand. And you're a mission guy. Yo,
Danny Wolf is 7 feet tall and can handle a basketball.
It's not crazy to say they couldn't win the NIT.
I think they were
Some good
losers
teams
too,
in
though.
NIT.
I mean, I feel like there were probably players they could have went with. Like, I would have liked Colin Murray Boyles a lot at the 8th
Facts.
overall
At 8
pick.
would have been firm.
So I like
He
prospects
went right after.
But
better than who they selected.
They didn't need. Do they need another wing player necessarily?
I mean, I feel like Ewers is gonna be a wing.
They need everything.
You're not wrong.
Like
need everything.
you like, who do you guys like more, Nolan or Kasparis?
I think Nolan. He
I don't know.
flashed.
True point. I wouldn't have hated.
He flashed what?
He has a very quick first step. He might be the most athletic point guard outside of Dylan Harper in the draft. Like, in terms of his explosiveness off the dribble and driving to the basket.
Have you lost your fucking mind?
No, he's very quick.
He sucks.
He's very quick.
He can't shoot. He can't finish.
No,
at
he
the
can't
rim.
shoot. He's a very good passer, though.
Yeah,
He's
so
a
is
very good
Kasparis.
playmaker. He doesn't turn the ball over like Spurs.
That is also fair. That is also. You did mention the load.
Yeah, I did mention the low.
Who's a better shooter?
Kasparis.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Kasparis went right after.
And how tall
Yeah.
is Kasparis?
6'6"?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
But Nolan's 6'5".
Facts.
6'5",
Yeah, I
6'6".
think he's like 6'6".
Nolan's very tall. Like, he was supposed to be a top 5 pick, like projected to be it this year.
He fell out after the first month. The first month of the season.
Like what's his name? Smith used to play for Arkansas.
Dennis Smith Jr.
No. It was. Is it Nolan or am I insane?
Boogie Fland?
No, Boogie Fland was Arkansas. Facts.
Yes.
Facts. No, it was Anthony Black and who? My God.
No, I know who you're talking about.
No.
No, Nick Smith Jr.
It
Yes,
is Nick Smith.
yes,
All right,
yes.
fact.
Yes,
He fell off.
No, he was a
Is
projected
it
like
similar
top 10
like
pick.
that?
But all he does is score inefficiently.
He's different.
All right, I'm wondering.
Nolan, I give a semi pass because he's playing overseas.
Yeah.
Different. Nick Smith, nah.
But
he fell
Nolan
off.
struggled the first month, but he actually picked up his play
did.
to end the year.
He did, but I don't.
That first
it
month
wasn't
brought
good
his
enough.
stock down a lot, though. But I think, Nolan is a player that maybe he could turn into like a good connector. I think the Nets were just looking for connectors. And honestly, like, we're getting so caught up in their draft and maybe it not being good. Maybe it doesn't pan out and they just all off of picks, right? But at the end of the day, the Nets are trying to be terrible. They're trying to get a top 3 pick. They're trying to do that.
That's not I don't think that's a good mindset to go in just because you're trying to be terrible.
I think so too, man.
Like, you
But I
pick bad
also,
players?
I'm just going off odds.
I'm just saying, worst case scenario, they get a top pick next year.
But can we also
I
just?
mean, they could have got that. They could have picked good and still got that.
You're right. You're not wrong.
I'm just thinking like the simplest way to think about it. The odds of them missing on all 5
How many have they hit on in the past 4 years? Just picks.
picks.
You want to, let's go to basketball.
That's a shame because Derek Whitehead.
Let's go to, supposed to be Jersey, man.
That hurt. No Clowney.
Let's see.
Not many, man. Cam Thomas counts.
Okay. How long ago was he, Joel? You know better than me.
They hit on. Oh my God.
2021.
Claxton.
2021.
That was a Cade.
Claxton doesn't count.
Yes.
Okay,
He was
Claxton.
Cade's class.
Cam Thomas.
Really?
Because he was Jalen Green's class.
Yep.
Dang.
Yep.
Dayron Sharp.
So let's.
I think he's a good player.
He's all right. He's all right. So last year they went Noah Clowney, Derek Whitehead, Jalen Wilson. Year before, Cameron Thomas, Kessler Edwards, Marcus Zagowski, Raekwon Gray. Year before that, Sadiq Bey, they traded him. Jay Scrubb, they traded him. 2019, Nikhil Alexander-Walker traded him. Mufandu Kambenje.
They really haven't had a top
But
pick.
I was gonna say they also traded their picks too.
Yeah, I think they actually mentioned in the broadcast this was the Nets' first top 10 pick since
I got you.
Brooke Lopez.
No, Derek Favors.
You're
Three.
right. Facts. Derek Favors.
He went higher than Brooke.
That's
Yeah.
2011. Derek
Bro,
Favors.
that was
Terrence-
2010.
Facts.
Terrence Williams was right behind Brooke. He went at 11.
Yeah, he didn't. He wasn't.
No,
a good
yeah.
player. Yeah. So no, the last time they've had a pick this high was 2010. So they haven't drafted this high in 15 years.
But the 3 guys that they drafted behind, like, those are guys they draft.
All right, but let me ask you:
And they didn't
Spencer
hit.
Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert,
They didn't draft
Jared
Spencer.
Allen.
They did draft Karras though.
No, they didn't draft Spencer.
Yeah, Spencer was on the Pistons, but they basically found him.
But that's what I'm
You know
saying.
They
I'm
found
really
him.
going off front office plays. Think about what they built
It
in that.
doesn't say they drafted LeVert.
It probably was a trade. He definitely was drafted there.
Yeah.
It was like, like Malu Watch was drafted to the Rockets technically.
Zanan Musa, remember him?
No.
Radions Karus.
Yeesh.
These are European.
It's
players.
getting muddy.
The
Jared
Hornets-
Allen, though.
Jared Allen. I knew I had to get into the bag real
Traded
quick.
Kuzma.
So the Suns did
Who
draft
cares?
Rasheer Fleming. The Magic drafted Noah Penda. And the Hornets take Sion James.
Say those names one more time. The thing is running.
The Magic took Noah Penda,
Valid.
4 from France. And the Hornets took Sion James.
Who's the one before Noah?
The 31st pick, Rasheer Fleming to the Suns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Rockets, no. The Timberwolves drafted him, but it's the
I
Suns
got you.
pick.
Oh, that's a
For
good
sure.
pick for Orlando.
Yeah. Noah
Another
Penda.
bigger body. Yeah, that's a good pick. He cool.
So you mentioned the Nets. My draft loser was pretty easily the Pelicans.
Drew doesn't like this.
Pretty easily. It's not sitting right with my spirit.
It's pretty easily because I think that they mismanaged the 2026 unprotected first round pick to trade away a pick that could be a top 5 pick, top 10 pick next season with the uncertainty around the Pelicans, the uncertainty around the availability of their best player, the uncertainty and the odd fit of their current roster. You look at what they have given up over the past couple of years. The Pelicans have turned Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance Jr., Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, 4 first-round picks into DeJounte Murray, Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and Derek Queen. This is just terrible management. Dyson Daniels is now flourishing in Atlanta, and I thought it was a bad trade when it happened.
You didn't think he would be most improved.
No, no. Yeah, he was. He was a candidate for me. He was. Dyson Daniels was MIP candidate for me. He was. I've liked Dyson Daniels since he got drafted.
MIP?
Yeah, he was.
MIP?
Absolutely.
No.
I could pull up the
no.
footage. Absolutely. I actually have a tweet. Absolutely. I'll pull up the tweet. But I'm looking at Jordan Poole.
Like,
really
Rick, why
doesn't
are you
fit
being
with them.
quiet right now?
Because I dead don't know.
But you know what's also crazy and what's
I
like
remember
DeJounte,
being a Dyson
the
guy.
perception of DeJounte is so in the mud.
Yeah.
Like you glossed over that name like DeJounte Murray is poop. I'll give it to you. You listed a lot of good names that they traded away. I'm not going to say you're wrong. Yes, there were some really good players. That being said, look at their roster. It is not too far off from that team that just kind of fell off because they got injured at the end of the season. They were still in the second half of that season a top 5 offense, a top 5 defense. Their defensive identity is pretty much the same from what it was that season, except now they have Aves Misi.
I hated the trade, the DeJounte Murray trade.
Yeah.
He didn't fit with the Hawks. There's a reason.
I
It
agree.
was a terrible move for
But
them.
he wasn't bad with the Hawks.
And
It's
no,
just the Hawks were underwhelming.
No, they were better with him when he was off the floor.
No, I think it was they were better when one of them was on the floor, but not together.
That was Trey. When
Yeah.
Trey was
No, I'm saying like
better.
when
We know
DeJounte
that.
was on, Trey was off. They weren't bad. And when Trey was on, DeJounte was off. Obviously they were good, but they were bad when they were both on the floor.
DeJounte, he didn't fit with them, and then I didn't think he fit with Zion either. So that's why it was questionable
To
that
be
the
fair,
Pelicans made the
we
move.
don't know.
No, I mean, I just based on how I know DeJounte plays basketball and how I know Zion plays
Facts.
basketball, I don't think they fit.
I don't disagree too
So
much.
for me, I don't like the moves at
Yeah,
all.
I'm with
And then Derek Queen, I think he's very talented. I think he has a good offensive skill set. I think the baby Jokic comparisons are a little bit overblown because he can handle the ball, but he's not the passer, the playmaker Jokic is, or even near that. He averaged like 1 or 2 assists in college. So he definitely can pass the ball at a plus level, but like it's not like anything crazy. But defensively, he's a huge liability. He's an undersized center. He can't defend. His team, Maryland, hit him a lot on defense. And in the NBA, you're not going to get away with that. And the Pelicans have already a lot of defenders they got to hide. So I didn't think that was a good pick. And Jeremiah Fears, I think, has some upside. He's a younger college player, but he was very inefficient with the high usage. He finished 44% at the rim, which is one of the worst marks in college, 25% from 3. And he's a little bit undersized and he's a little bit skinnier. So I think that it's going to take some time for him to adjust to the league. But the only way like that pick is a good pick is if he becomes like a borderline all-star level player. So I'm not mad at the Fierce pick. I'm just more so upset that they traded up 10 spots and they gave up their 2026 pick to get the pick 13 when the 2026 pick could be valuable. Like that's why I think the Hawks won, because if Zion does not play the entirety of the season, if this team is just an AAU team thrown out there, which that's what it very much
Why
feels
would
like.
Zion miss the whole season?
I said if he misses some of the season.
Apologize.
Then, they could drop in the standings. I think this team has a lot of talent that just doesn't fit together. Like, Trey Murphy would be better on another team. Herb Jones would be better on another team.
But the only reason I have a hard time sitting through this and hearing where it come from is because, again, they've played together already. They've had winning basketball moments for sure. It's just we haven't seen over an entire season because at some point the wheels fall off. And that's mainly because of injury. Like 95% because of injury. The year that they were in the second half, a top 5 defense, a top 10 offense, it was with this essentially same core except no BI.
I think it's a lot to project the team into being a good team next year.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think it is.
You can't say that.
Why?
You literally can't say that.
I can't trust
Right
Zion
message,
to play.
wrong messenger is fuck.
Zion misses 50%
No.
of his
All right,
games.
listen, by your logic.
You just did it with the Spurs.
Hold on. By his logic, Zion is an every other year kind of guy. All right, he just played 70 last year. He didn't play that many games this year. Year before that, he played 30. Year before that, he played 60
This
games.
roster doesn't fit, though. Like, the starting lineup is DeJounte Murray is going to be out for a while. So, the
When did
starting
he get
lineup,
hurt last year? Early?
he
or-
got hurt like 2025, early
Okay,
2025.
check.
So, like, I think in like January. Jordan Poole, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Zion, and Yves Missi.
We're here.
I don't think that's a very good lineup. I'm going to be honest.
wrong
I don't
with
think
that?
it fits.
We're here.
Wait,
We're here.
why?
I think Jordan Poole can't play defense. Zion can't play defense. And Yves Missi.
We
Zion,
can put that ball in the fucking bucket, though.
If
they're
that's-
going to get buckets.
Missi has tools, but he hasn't. He still has to develop and has to learn the game more.
I mean, his defense is still firm.
And Trey Murphy doesn't really play defense either.
Trey can be average on defense, and that's all you'll live with that 100%.
Just think you got 4 defenders in a lineup that really don't impact it in a positive way.
4?
Yeah, 3.5. I think
Why? I was gonna say I'm not
Missi-
grouping Missi in
Missi can grow into that, but you don't have nobody on the perimeter that can defend
Herb.
outside. Herb Jones can, but that's a lot of responsibility to put on just him.
He's done that.
Before then, I thought that they had more defenders.
Do me a solid. Who?
Dyson Daniels.
Dyson Daniels barely played,
He did play.
but not as nearly as much to impact to the game that they were
I
a
think he was
top 10
getting 20.
defense.
He played
20
like 20 minutes
minutes,
a
yeah.
game for them.
Let's
He
double
did
check.
play.
I think he was getting 20.
Let me know. I'm curious, genuinely, because it's
Yeah.
it's Jose Alvarado.
He did
It's
play.
Herb
22.3
Jones.
minutes. He averaged 6 points.
Okay, we knew the offense wasn't there. That's not.
Nah, he's
real-
playing 22 minutes.
He
That's
definitely
a decent
impacted their
amount.
defense.
That's a decent amount.
That's a
But
good
so
amount.
3 players.
Now, you only have one.
No, but 3 players turn them into a top 5 defense. That can't be.
I think that they're just
I'm
not a
tweaking?
good fit.
Nah, I get what you're saying. I get what both of you guys are saying.
What do you mean? 2 to 3? Herb Jones, Dyson.
Herb
and who?
Jones, Jose Alvarado, and Dyson Daniels.
Well, I don't think Jose Alvarado's turning around any
Oh,
defense.
exactly my point. So 2 players.
Herb can do some things.
I agree.
Like,
So you think-
defensively,
so-
they
That's
don't got
why.
to score.
What happened to Trey? Like, I thought Trey Murphy before was a good defender.
passable.
He's never been. I understand last season, obviously, there was more of a responsibility for him to score the
Nah,
basketball.
he's passable.
He's passable off the ball because he has
Yeah.
length.
but
no,
that's what I'm wondering.
he doesn't rebound the
CJ
ball.
McCollum,
Oh, God.
good defender?
Holy shit.
I think he's just as equal as Jordan Poole.
Okay.
But-
You're cooking.
Okay.
You're
But
cooking.
why are we using something from 2 years ago?
Because it's a similar cast.
So you
West
think-
did get better, though.
That's an
I
anomaly.
agree
to
with
me.
you.
Do you think they're going to be a top 5 defense or anywhere near that this upcoming season?
They've been good defenses.
So you think they could be a top 5 defense
Top
next
five
year?
That's
is
what, no,
strong.
see, but that's what I'm wondering. Like,
No, they
why
can't.
is it that they were a top 5 defense with a similar cast
No.
with no real big?
So you tell me why? Why were they?
They were, but that's what I'm wondering.
Because
Because Herb Jones was obviously incredible. They were healthy.
I don't think that they have the personnel to be a top level defense this upcoming season. I do not care about what happened 2 years ago. I care about
they
this
were
upcoming
healthy.
year. This upcoming year,
Uh-huh.
I don't think they have the personnel to be a top end defense.
Even
I
though
think
it's
that,
similar to
I
that
think
year.
that is a major liability for them.
Yeah.
I think it's a major liability for them. And then you bring in
Steven
Jeremiah
Adams
Fears.
2022 or no?
Hmm?
Steven Adams was on the Pelicans in 23 or no?
Damn. That's a good-ass question.
I'm looking now.
It was Jonas. That was their
Oh
center.
my God.
That was their
Even
center.
worse.
Yeah, Michi's way
That was
better.
their center. But I'm not using that number to project them going
Yeah,
forward
he was
this
there
year.
2021.
Like, to me, like Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen off the bench, those are also
Yeah.
not good defenders. Like I said, I think the Pelicans are a very talented team. It's just a very weird, clunky fit.
It's always clunky.
That's what it is.
Them.
And I just feel like they haven't committed to a timeline because they can't trust Zion Williamson to stay healthy. If Zion Williamson could stay healthy, they're not drafting Derek Queen with the 13th overall pick. They're drafting like a Carter Bryant that could fit better next to him. And because they cannot draft for fit around Zion and their moves usually aren't fitting around Zion, it's made this roster weird.
Mm-hmm.
If Zion was able to be relied upon for an extended period of time, I think the way they built this roster would be a lot different. But then again, I don't know. I think also they just don't make that many good moves to build an actual good team. And I know that a couple years ago they were the 5th seed, and yeah, they played really well. Then they dropped to the 8th seed, and they got eliminated by OKC in the first round. But it just feels like their ceiling is always hindered by health, and that's the biggest question mark with them. But also, another question mark is the fit. I can't look at the team and be like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm just because I'm looking now because I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy because sometimes I am. They were 7th in defensive rating for the entirety of the season. But again, what I was saying was post All-Star break, they were one of the best teams, period. Now, this is with a team that primarily played a lineup or these players played a majority of the minutes. Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. Those are 3 players that averaged more than 30 minutes per game. How many of those players are just great defenders? One?
I didn't hear a lot.
But okay, now
here's the rest.
And I'll give a great defense though.
They're great team defense.
But why?
That's really a great question.
How is that?
Herb Jones was very obviously the best defender on this team.
And how is that going to lead to them being great this year?
Because Herb Jones is still the constant.
Like I don't think that this upcoming year they're going to be a great defense. I don't think so.
But again, they did not have a true defensive big. It was Jonas. Like Aves Misi is already a bonus from that. Herb Jones is still there. Dyson Daniels played 23 minutes per game. That's obviously a strong contribution. His contribution on offense took away what he actually meant on the defensive side, so that's fair. But again, they were just a really strong team defense with Herb Jones being one of the best defenders in basketball.
I don't think that one player can turn around the defense, and I don't think that Herb Jones alone was the reason why they were a great defense.
But also, from what I remember, at least what I remember, Trey Murphy was a good defender.
And I think there are also moments where a team can have a top-end defense and it could be masked by a lot of different deficiencies within the regular season and get exposed. And I think the best example of that were the Utah Jazz Gobert-led teams.
See, but
I think in the regular season,
I'm not trying to say that they got exposed because they went up against the Lakers in the play-in and Zion got hurt.
But the year they won the 50 games, though, they got eliminated by the OKC Thunder in the first round. Or was that the same year they played the Lakers?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay, but I don't think they would have beat OKC or gave them a challenge anyway, personally. So, like,
who?
I think
OKC?
The Pelicans in the first round.
Of course not.
But I'm looking at the Pelicans in a similar light to where the Jazz.
I remember Shea not having the best series at all against the Pelicans.
The play-in game?
No, that
Shea
for sure.
Shea
They
was
lost.
Inefficient.
Lost to the Pelicans. BI was better.
Shea was inefficient that series.
And who was exactly? Herb genuinely was a difference maker.
Yeah, no, Herb is a difference maker on defense. But the same way to where the Jazz, Rudy Gobert's a difference maker on defense, their defense was not good because they didn't have any of the perimeter personnel. Mm-hmm. The Pelicans don't have a real consistent rim protector. Misi is good, but then what happens in those Derek Queen minutes? It falls off a cliff. Mm-hmm. And then their only perimeter defender is Herb Jones. Like that year, they had 2 elite perimeter defenders they could count on for 48 minutes in Herb Jones and Dyson Daniels. They don't have that this year.
Again, Dyson never really played that crazy
amount of minutes. He played 20 minutes per game that year.
That's less than half a game.
But if you are combining Herb's 30 minutes with that 20, you're getting 50 minutes of elite perimeter defensive play. They don't have another player that can play defense outside of Herb Jones. The entire stress is on Herb Jones to make them a competent unit, and I think that's way too much, especially after this year. He didn't play that much because he got hurt. Mm-hmm. So I just
think if they're healthy, they have a talented squad.
They're talented. They don't fit. That's my thing. They don't fit. They're a talented team. I said that multiple times. I just don't think it makes sense. Mm-hmm. I don't think the roster makes sense. I don't think Jordan Poole is the answer to their problems. And they're paying DeJounte Murray and Jordan Poole $70 million combined over the next 2 seasons. Those are objectively bad contracts that nobody wants. The Wizards dumped Jordan Poole for nothing. CJ McCollum's on an expiring deal. They said, we'd rather take CJ McCollum and dump Poole's contract than to have Poole be one of our main young guys. They literally want their younger players to develop instead of giving Poole those reps. And I think Poole played well with Washington last year.
He's 26, 27.
Let me ask you, though, because I'm going to try and draw up the picture-perfect scenario for the Pelicans, and we can move on because we're still on losers. I'll talk about my loser after this, but let's say in a perfect world, DeJounte Murray comes back. You have, obviously, the Jordan Poole you just traded for. You know what his responsibility is going to be to the team. His contribution is going to be offense, scoring the
Lakers
basketball.
Just traded.
For a big?
Now they got Minnesota's pick.
Okay, interesting. I think you're expecting Zion Williamson next season to primarily be the guy who has the most on-ball responsibility. He's going to be facilitating the offense. DeJounte Murray is not going to be tasked with being a top 2 leading scorer on the team. We know that. I think that was his responsibility on Atlanta, and we know that his offensive skill set is relatively limited to within the perimeter, within the three-point line, I should say. Now he's going to at least now understand my role is to primarily contribute to the defensive side of the ball. Now, if you get that type of player, which we haven't seen from DeJounte in a couple of seasons, which I can admit, and that's definitely fair. But he still does have that athleticism with Herb Jones. That's the perimeter defense right there. And then, of course, Aves Misi. I think that in a best case scenario, they traded for Jordan Poole because they needed another guy that can score the basketball, not named Zion, and really not named DeJounte Murray. Because he should not have that responsibility, and we know that he's better when he doesn't have that responsibility. Because you actually really do need him to contribute to defense.
So I think you're highlighting a best case scenario, so I'm not going to nitpick it too much.
For sure, I was.
DeJounte Murray, I don't think he's been a good defender in 3 years.
It's fair because last season he didn't play, but
Right,
yeah, you're right.
Further.
And now he's coming off a ruptured Achilles. I just don't think that, like I said, they're talented. The Pelicans have talent. Objectively, they have talent.
They do.
I just don't think it's gonna work. Like I don't look at it and say that's a team. I feel like it's a collection of players that are talented, but not an actual cohesive team.
They've also done a good job of developing. I think all things considered, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Aves Misi in year 1. I think genuine, and also Zion's ability to get better each season as a playmaker too. Jose Alvarado each season has gotten better. The only one that you could look at and think that it's a blemish currently is Jordan Hawkins. And that's a pretty decent blemish, truthfully. So I can understand saying that, but all in all, I think that they've done a good job in that. Where Jeremiah Fears has athleticism, a lot of it, he's a guy that obviously needs refinement. Derek Queen, he's a really talented offensive guy. He needs refinement on the defensive side. So that's something that you trust in the coaching staff to do. But yeah, I think I definitely understand the concern in terms of fit, especially because of DeJounte. But I do think they made this move for Jordan because they did feel they needed more consistent offense. They know that Trey Murphy can't be that second guy,
but
too.
CJ McCollum could do what Jordan Poole could do, and he's expiring.
He is, but he's also older.
I know, but that's better because he's expiring.
But Jordan Poole last season, I understand that it was empty because he was on the Wizards, but he gave you good hoops.
Yeah, as the only guy. Like Kenny...
He was efficient.
You know, he was efficient, but it's like...
He's going to get a lot less attention.
Like, would I rather keep CJ McCollum and know his contract's ending or trade for Jordan Poole and be locked into that for 2 more years?
I think this is going to be Jordan Poole's best season. Genuinely.
I also think they're trying to compete. I think that's the difference.
Jordan Poole's he's going to have his best season by far. Because a lot of the attention is going to be on Zion, especially when he's get the ball, drive to the paint. Zion has the ability to kick out, and he's going to hit an open shot.
The mismanagement of the 2026 first round pick, I think, is just the biggest one because
I get it.
You're mentioning a perfect scenario to me, and I feel like
are you buying it a little?
The
perfect scenario.
If I'm looking at the 2 scales, one of the scales being the perfect scenario that you laid out, which I won't say perfect, but it's a highly favorable scenario to them.
Very.
And I'm weighing out the other possibility, worst case scenario for them. I feel like the odds of the worst case scenario happening for this team is greater. And if that happens, that 2026 pick becomes so valuable.
To be fair.
They might have gifted the Hawks a top 10 pick next year.
But we thought that the Hawks were going to give the Spurs a top 10 pick, and that didn't happen.
Under the assumption Trae Young was traded, but he didn't get traded.
I still think we thought the Hawks were going to be mid.
Nobody thought mid,
not
yes.
that bad.
Mid, yes, but like playing mid. With Trae Young, they were never going to drop into like one of the worst teams, because one thing about Trae Young is that he does stay on the court and he plays. You know, with Zion, it's different because you have a star player that can miss half the season. And if that happens, your season is tanked. So if I'm the Pelicans, like, I'm just like, I gave up this pick that at the very least is a lottery ticket for me to get one of the 3 best players in this upcoming draft. And what did I trade it for? Derek Queen? Like, I just don't think that it made much sense. I think the Jeremiah Fears pick was fine. They needed a point guard. DeJounte Murray is not the long-term guy there. And we'll see if Jordan Poole is continuously better with them and is efficient.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeremiah Fears needed a point guard. My thing is that this team drafts so many young players that their young players get buried within the roster. Like, is Jeremiah Fears going to be so good from day one that he's going to play over Jordan Poole, over Jose Alvarado? I would like to think that he would play over Jose Alvarado.
Who do you think's gotten buried for the Pelicans in the past?
Kara Lewis.
I feel like if he was good enough, he would have played, no?
Well, Dyson definitely got buried.
Dyson did get buried for a while, too.
That's a great answer.
Kara, Dyson, yeah, maybe if they were good enough, they would have played. But I just feel like, you know, if Jeremiah Fears got drafted to the Nets, he's starting. Like, without a doubt.
I agree
Like,
wholeheartedly.
to the Pelicans, it's like, okay, he's coming off the bench. He's not going to start. And especially once DeJounte comes back, you're talking about DeJounte and Poole, the 2 guards that he's behind. And if they're a winning basketball team and Jose Alvarado is contributing to winning more, he might get more minutes than him. So I just think that he got drafted to a team that he's not going to have complete freedom to just be himself. Like, you're not going to give him the ball over Zion, or I think even Trey Murphy, because he ascended a lot on it with his on-ball creation. So he's going to a spot where he has to fit a role, and we'll see if he develops a jump shot, but he didn't shoot well in college. So that's where I feel like the Pelicans, they have so much talent that they draft these players high, and they're not able to get consistently on the court, and that just hinders their development overall. But I'm looking at the second round. So Rasheer Fleming got traded to the Suns. Noah Penda traded to the Magic. Sion James to the Hornets. The Hornets also drafted Ryan Kalkbrenner with their next pick. I really like Ryan Kalkbrenner. I think he's a good
center
player.
from Creighton?
Yes, I like him a lot. The 76ers took Johnny Broom.
That's valid.
The Nets drafted but then traded Thiero to the Lakers.
It's a good pick.
That is an awesome pick.
Good
Turn me
That's
up.
a great player next to Luka. 2027
You know Dorian
championship.
Finney-Smith
Hey!
he declined his option? Drew?
I'm watching his tape. Who?
Dorian Finney-Smith, he declined his option.
He wants to get paid. I get it.
Chaz Lanier got drafted to the
Tennessee?
Pistons. Yes, he's on the Pistons. And Cam Jones got drafted to the Spurs but traded to Indiana.
Oh, okay. More guard, more buckets. And, you know, Hallie's going to miss the year.
Yeah, especially with Hallie missing the year. They need him more.
4-year player. I like that.
Grading NBA trades. We're going to go down the list of all these trades that happened that we missed, that we didn't get to cover last podcast.
Let's do it.
And we're going to grade them. So the first one, the Celtics acquire Anthony Simons, 2 second-round picks, and the Blazers acquire Drew Holiday.
A little bit of a retool.
I would go Celtics B. I think they want to retool, but they want to remain competitive to a degree. I think Anthony Simons can do that. For Portland, I'll say C+, B-. I do like Drew in the building with all those young players. I do like the foundation he's in. I think second half of the year, Portland was a great defense. I think Drew can only add on to that. And I think they believe in Scoot. I think it's time to pull the training wheels off for Scoot anyways and see what you have in him. I think getting Drew, trading Simons is the indicator that Scoot is going to be our point guard. Just putting 2 seconds in it kind of tells you, like, Brad Stevens is good at his job.
In hindsight, this was the most obvious Drew Holiday destination. In hindsight. Because you have a young team that is paying absolutely no one, that their identity is defense. It makes perfect sense. You're going to pay Drew Holiday the $35 million. He's going to be the only guy that you're paying real money outside of DeAndre Ayton, who we are anticipating either they move off from or something. I don't know if DeAndre Ayton's there at the start of the season, but you're not paying anyone really of any real substance. Drew Holiday fits that team perfectly, and their identity was already defense. I really like that move for them. I'm going to give it a B+. As for the Boston Celtics, this is great. This makes a lot of sense to me. You needed to lower your salary. That's exactly what you did. You got some minor draft assets with the 2 second-round picks, and you got a guy that's going to be on expiring as well. This is a guy that can contribute to basketball this season as well. This is a guy that could potentially re-sign with you on top to play next to Jason Tatum, because we understand that he is a great catch-and-shoot 3-point guy.
Sniper.
He really genuinely was. And when we saw that with Damian Lillard in his time with the Trailblazers while Dame was there. So this was a really strong move for them, especially because there's so many avenues that can come from this. I'm going to give it a B+.
It's weird to grade this move because I think if for the Blazers, I think it's a B+, just adding a veteran to the locker room, and now Simon's not being there opens up offense for Scoot Henderson to run the show,
Gets me
more
excited.
touches for Denny Advia.
Clear to be
So that's why I think that for the Blazers, it made sense. Although I don't like that they're paying Holiday and Jeremy Grant all
That's
the way until
Jeremy Grant.
2027 to
Grant,
2028.
that's on me.
Like, that's horrible. Those are horrible contracts.
When is Aiden's contract done?
This year.
Yeah, it is.
Huge.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Grant's the only one that I'm really like, ugh.
But then I'm looking at the Celtics, and it's like, okay,
Here we go.
if Anthony Simon stays past this year,
A+.
it's a good move, right? But what if he doesn't? What if he leaves? They really got only 2 second-round picks for Drew Holiday at the end of the day, which I don't think is that much value for a player who contributes to winning and championship and all that stuff. But if you just told me this move happened
Drew dirt, man.
and they didn't have another move after this, because the next move we'll talk about, it goes hand in hand, is a 3-team deal where the Celtics got Niang and a second-round pick, and the Hawks got Porzingis and a second-round pick, and the Nets got Terrence Mann and the draft pick that they used to draft Drake Powell. If you just told me that Anthony Simons trade happened for the Celtics and they were going to look to get under the second apron by moving Sam Hauser instead of Kristaps Porzingis, it would have signaled to me, oh, this team wants to compete. The fact that you had the Simons trade and then the Porzingis trade, and you got essentially nothing back for Porzingis, a big man, that's still a big need for them. They are under the second apron, and Brad Stevens did save the organization a lot of money. It does feel like this is more of a retooling, rebuilding year for the Celtics. Like, I'm looking at Anthony Simons, Payne Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White as your 4 best players, and then really not much depth around them.
I really don't see how this is rebuilding.
I think it's a major.
No, I think you said it
downgrade.
perfectly, and then realized what you said, and you're like, I got to throw in rebuild too.
They got worse,
I mean,
yeah,
look,
we
they got
knew
worse
that
the
was
moment
going to
Tatum got hurt.
happen.
but they got significantly worse.
No, you can't know, because you just said Drew has no value. He's not
And
good.
also, KP was a fucking negative in the playoffs.
Not in the regular season.
I
we don't know.
say
I
in the
think
regular season?
We're talking about the regular season.
But I
What
think
they
they
can
moved
do.
Porzingis because they don't know what his health is.
What's the ceiling of this Celtics
Playing
team?
team.
I told you what it is.
Playing
6 seed?
Top 6.
6 is death for ceiling. That's not bad.
I don't think so. Not with the amount of teams that got better in the East.
How many got better?
How many is right? And
How many got
I'm
better?
going to genuinely jump out of my seat if you say this team. Go
How
ahead.
many got better?
Go ahead.
The Atlanta Hawks are better than the Celtics.
Okay, they got better.
With Jalen coming back,
The question was how many got better?
Yeah,
Yes,
facts.
the Hawks got better. Continue.
because they get Jalen, right?
Who are better?
No,
I'll
no,
say
no.
who are
No,
better.
How many
no.
got better?
How many teams just got better or just got better than the
No,
Celtics?
you just said teams got better in the East.
I'm trying. Yes.
How many got better?
I'm asking you. Do you want me to tell you the
I
teams
would
that
like to
I think?
first tell me how many got better.
How many teams got better
Just
in the East?
Yeah,
I
just
think
tell me how many got
The
better.
Atlanta Hawks got better.
Correct. It gets
The
dark.
Toronto Raptors.
How did they get
healthy
better
got
in the
better.
East? What did they do?
Got better.
What did they
They're just
do?
gonna be healthy. That's it. They're just
You don't
healthy.
know that. You just told me I can't do that with Dallas.
Well, Brandon Ingram.
You just told him he can't do that with the Pelicans.
But hold up. You told me what teams got better.
He's cooking.
Yo,
not,
no!
no. Not what teams
You're
are
projecting
going to be
their health.
better than the Celtics. Those are two
Yes,
different questions.
Toronto didn't get better by being healthier.
So you don't think that from last year, where they traded for Ingram midseason,
Yes.
to this year, where they're going to have Ingram to start the season healthy, the Raptors are not better this year than last year?
We don't know.
Did they get better enough to be better than the Celtics?
They didn't get better in the offseason. They
That's a
didn't do
toss-up.
anything.
I would probably go with the Celtics.
Okay.
But his question was,
Who got better?
Did the Raptors get better from last year? Yes.
You're
they
making
got better than last
disgusting
year.
moves. You're talking
No.
That's
That's
not
not what it was.
the
That's not what it was.
specific.
That's not what it was.
Didn't I ask you to clarify
No, you
it?
said they got better this offseason. That's what you said. So I said,
Colin
okay,
Murray Boyles is getting
what
better.
teams got better?
Colin Murray Boyles
All
is the
right,
player.
I
that
would have
gets them.
rather you said that shit than the other shit.
But Brandon Ingram, who didn't play for them last year, is he's gonna be an improvement to this team.
You said, quote, teams got better this offseason. So
Yes.
I asked you, okay,
You reached,
what teams
but
got
fine.
better?
No,
he reached, but
I asked
fine.
him to clarify it for
No.
me.
Fine. He reached,
The
but fine.
Magic
Keep
got
going.
better too.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
facts.
Correct.
So
facts.
it'll be easier for me to just tell you what teams are better than the
Yeah,
Celtics.
it is.
Go ahead,
It
'cause you
seems
can't-
that way.
it's
It
not
seems
working
that
with
way.
I
this
told you
No,
to
just go.
clarify for
Hurry
me.
up, go.
The Cavaliers,
Correct.
the Magic,
Yes.
the Knicks, the Atlanta Hawks,
Wow.
That's
They're going to be better than the Celtics?
the
Like
Philadelphia.
outright?
Yes, the
Oh, wow.
Philadelphia 76ers. will be better
Stop.
than them.
I caught you again.
What
That
are
is
you
projected
doing?
again. You can't.
You're doing it
You can't
again.
keep doing
I can't
that.
gas up the
I like the Sixers. I like the Sixers this year.
But you
and God forbid I
you have
project that with the
contradicted
Pelicans.
yourself
God
5
forbid he does that
times
with the Mavericks.
in 30 minutes.
And another team, I think the Miami Heat are just as good as the Celtics.
They are
They
terrible.
could have a better record than
They're
them.
awful.
They could.
The Heat are awful.
They could.
The Heat are dog shit.
could.
The Heat
How
are
many
terrible.
How many games do you think the Celtics are winning?
How many games do you think the Heat won last
The
year?
Celtics
38.
can't.
And they didn't get better.
Yo, the Celtics can't win
'Cause Spurs
48,
is getting
40,
better.
46 to 48 games.
And
Also,
also,
Spears not even better than Davion Mitchell. Real shit.
That's not even crazy.
Real
That's
shit.
not even
Real
crazy.
shit.
how do you know? I mean, you don't know.
Oh, now we
So
can't
what-
project.
So
This shit is
what do you? I
crazy.
never said you can't. What do you think the Celtics ceiling is wins?
I think
wise?
ceiling
you,
is
46
60 for me.
Yeah, they could.
Huh?
Their absolute ceiling is nabbing a 60.
What's wrong with
That's
that?
I'm saying my bad.
Wins.
I
You said
heard
wins.
I heard 60.
No.
Wins.
No.
Wins.
What
What is this?
Oh, wins. No.
All right,
60 wins.
46
I
to
say 45
48.
wins. Yeah. About 45.
46 to 48.
That's crazy.
How?
That's crazy.
Jalen Brown.
Bro just said the Heat.
Derek White.
The Heat.
Yeah, the Heat really. I don't. Shout out to
he say?
Spo.
What is he
Shout out to
saying?
Spo. I guess.
No, they suck. How many games? The Celtics won 60 games last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Detroit. I think that's another team that's better than the Celtics.
I would love to see more them
So,
make a move eventually.
The Cavaliers, the Knicks,
Mhm.
the Pistons, the Magic, the Hawks. That's 5.
Mhm.
And I think just Giannis alone could be better than the Celtics and what they got. The
how,
Bucks.
How many games did the Bucks win this year? Last year?
40 some.
48.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And I think the Pacers are a better team than the Celtics. Even
Like
without
no
Hallie.
Hallie?
No
This
Hallie.
guy- no.
No Hallie. Pacers
Yo.
versus no
This
no
shit-
Tatum
this
Celtics.
shit
I think
is
Pacers are
One
better.
of the best plus minuses
Mr. He runs the shit. Mr. They're not good when he's on the court.
off the court.
When he's off the
Who
court.
has a better roster right now, today?
They're
The
both
Pel-
like
the
the
Pacers
same.
or the Celtics?
They're both the same.
Without
Really?
Hallie, without Tatum,
Without Hallie, without
They're
Tatum.
legitimately the same.
it's close.
With no KP and no Drew
it's
anymore.
close.
You don't, yo, bro.
Who's better,
You just
Andrew
call-
Nemhard or Anthony Simons?
Anthony
That's
Simons.
a question for
no,
you.
Anthony Simons.
That's a question
Nemhard
for
plays
you.
defense. I'm going Nemhard.
Interesting.
He
think
doesn't do.
Nemhard.
He did not. He didn't do anything in the regular season.
Hey, he played defense all season. Talk about offense. Offense. He didn't
Miles Turner, Siakam's better than anything they got going on in the front court.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Neesmith. I mean, they still have their team outside of Hallie.
do- No, you're hilarious.
They still have their team, bro.
Okay, the Celtics still have essentially. their
No,
team.
they lost Porzingis and Drew. Those were 2 starters.
You
And
did,
Drew-
you admitted Drew was trash last year.
He didn't play up to his snuff.
So then, yo, make up your mind. Was he trash or he's legit? Make up your mind.
well, he's an elite
How
defender.
many points
still.
is Anthony Simons going to average this season with the Boston Celtics?
He's gonna
At least 20.
He probably-
Can
right?
we forget they still have Jalen Brown? They
Yes.
still have Derek White.
Yes.
They still have
average
Peyton
20
Pritchard.
and,
Like, this
and
is
give
nuts.
up 30.
Sam Hauser's still on the team.
They still have a very solid foundation.
and
in
they're
the
going to
spot.
bring back Al Horford.
They just don't have bigs.
Do you think the Celtics roster is better than the Pacers roster?
I think it's close.
No Hallie, no Tatum. Right
mean-
now, do you think the Celtics roster is better than the Pacers?
It's close.
I don't think. I think it's
it's
the
not
Pacers.
close.
It's close.
It's not close. Like,
Pick one.
yeah,
No,
I think it's fair.
no,
I
I ain't
think it's
doing
fair
that.
for us to pick one.
Why
no,
can't
no,
you
no.
pick
Because
one?
we are not. This is why. This is
Explain
why.
to me.
This
Maybe
is
you
why.
can sway me.
This is why I think it's not fair that we have to pick one.
Uh-huh.
Because we're not out here calling them trash.
We're not.
We're not out here
We're
calling
not.
them elite.
He's right.
We're
Yo,
not.
actually,
we're
I'm
not.
asking
We're
you a
dead
question.
not.
You can't answer a
We're
question.
we are of the mind. They're all in the same
Drew,
tier.
what roster is better, the Pacers or the Celtics roster?
All right, I need a single second to think this out. I think not having Hallie is going to be a bummer for them because we're going
Yes.
to really see what Andrew Nemhard is made of.
All
That's
of
me
them.
personally.
And that's
I
your
agree.
breakout guy, right? You think he could break out?
You made that up.
Because no, I remember you
made
tweeted.
that up.
You tweeted
He's
last
better
year
than-
playoffs run
yep.
that Nemhard's
Cook.
better than
Oh
Halliburton.
my God.
Okay, what does that have to do with right now?
No,
So
no,
you
no,
don't.
no,
So
has
you don't
nothing
think
to do right
with
now.
him having the
No,
keys,
that has
he's gonna
nothing to do
ascend?
right now.
Yo, he's
That's-
cooking.
okay.
No, low key's right.
You
He
just said
has
he's
the
better
key
than
to-
Anthony Simon, so you fucking
Yo,
tell me.
yeah, honestly, that was nuts.
Because
You
it's
tell me.
not about just points for me. It's not about raw points. It's about
Impact.
who defends and impacts winning better. I think Nemhard impacts winning better than Simons.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Sure.
Because he's running the show.
And I think the Pacers roster minus Hallie versus the Celtics roster minus Tatum and Porzingis and Drew, even regarding what they got back for those two, which is Niang and Simons.
I would like to.
I think the Pacers roster is
I
better.
would love to see how Boston finishes out the offseason because they still have a need in the front court. I will say this though: if they do fill out the front court, you're fucked, buddy.
So what? With
You're
Luke
fucked.
Cornett and Al Horford?
Well, I just
What's
said fill out
wrong with that?
Even if
I
they
just
get
said-
those two,
Bro,
I'm fine.
that
I
was
said
what they're.
fill out the
No,
front
but here's
court.
the thing. If it's Cornett and Horford,
How many? hold
that
on.
was basically what it was when they won the chip.
The Cavaliers are better, yes or no?
Yes.
The Knicks are better, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
The
Porzingis played
Pistons,
40 games last year, by the way.
I know.
the Pistons are better, yes or no?
I don't know. TBD. TBD pile. Riv, I'm being fair here. TBD.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
Because I want to see what they do also. TBD.
TBD.
The Magic are better, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
The Hawks are better, yes or no?
TBD.
I changed my mind. Pistons, yes.
Riv.
You have 4.
I forgot Ivy's coming back.
That is
that
a good
moved me.
addition.
Atlanta,
I think they should be better.
I
Will
would
they?
say-
I
yes.
don't know.
I'm of that mind.
You know
have,
what I mean?
You have 4, you have 5.
Whoa.
Including your TBD.
If Porzingis is healthy, I'd say yeah.
Well, Porzingis, for the
Yeah,
Hawks.
Hawks.
Yeah, for the Hawks. If Porzingis is healthy, I'd say
For
yeah.
for facts.
I'd say yeah.
Nah, they
They're
got a
dependent
cute
on
team.
health. They're
They
dependent
got
on
a
health.
cute
I
team.
like
So
that
I'll
team
put that
a
in
lot.
TBD. I'm leaning more towards yes.
Yo, is Onyeka on the block?
Nah,
Nah,
he
he
can play.
gonna play. He gonna
So
play.
Capella on the block?
He's gone. He's a free agent.
Oh,
Yeah.
forgot about
And the
that.
Hawks are not done. We'll talk about them in a bit.
Yeah, no.
The Hawks are not done. Okay, so you have 5, including your TBD. You have 4.
Mm-hmm.
The Pacers.
TBD.
TBD.
You have 6 TBD. You have 5 now combined. The Miami Heat.
No.
No.
The Milwaukee Bucks if they keep Giannis.
No. No.
Nah, they're bad.
No.
They're bad.
No.
They're losing half the free
they
agents.
they
They're
li-
bad.
no, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I pray for my brother this season. It's Giannis and company.
I know.
And the company
It is.
isn't
Team
even
is
there.
terrible.
I think Giannis impacts winning more than Derek White, Jalen Brown, and Anthony Simons combined, though.
That's not an awful,
Like, you're
awful
not-
take,
yeah, it's
but I just
not.
think it's wrong.
Giannis.
So that's why I think that the Bucks can still be better. Whatever.
Will they?
I'll bet on Giannis. I think he's an exceptional player.
Name 5 players in the Bucks right now. Name 5 players in the Bucks
Yo,
right
name
now.
5 players on the Bucks right now.
Kyle Kuzma,
Uh-huh.
Ryan Rollins,
Yep.
Pat Connaughton,
These are the guys I
AJ
expected.
Green.
My point. Boston. My point.
All right.
Fucking dog shit. They're worse than the Heat.
You said no to the Miami Heat, correct?
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
taking the Heat.
The Toronto Raptors.
No. I don't believe in it. I'm sorry.
Hold
I don't.
on. Hold on.
I don't believe in it.
Hold on. This one is tricky. It's tricky because I fuck with the Raptors. My issue is I need to see them put it all together. It's a TBD.
They have more talent, I think, collectively.
They've had talent for a while.
You're not wrong. Okay. The Charlotte Hornets, no.
Okay.
Wait, do they?
The
Let's-
Raptors?
Let's run this down real quick.
Emmanuel Quickly, Scotty Barnes, Brendan Ingram,
Okay,
RJ
okay, let's-
Barrett,
let's go-
Ochai
let's
Agbaji,
go position by
Jakob Poeltl,
position.
Colin Murray, Boyles.
We're counting Kyle.
No, we're not counting rookies. We're not
No.
counting rookies.
He's awesome.
I agree with you. We're not counting rookies. Let's go position by position. Point guard.
Derek
Peyton
White
Pritchard.
clears.
No, well, Derek White, I was going to put the 2.
Sorry,
Anthony
I think
or
Derek's going to
Quickly?
play the 1
Oh,
this year.
Simons quickly. I think that's a dead even. We can just dead even that.
You're right.
Dead
You can
even
go
that.
on.
Derek White. Who's the
RJ
2?
Barrett.
I think Derek White is better.
Comfortably.
Jalen Brown is better than Brandon Ingram.
Talent-wise,
Comfortably.
What are you saying about talent?
Derek White's better.
Okay. Jalen Brown is better than Brandon Ingram.
Derek White's more talented than RJ2.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Then RJ?
I said what I said.
Okay.
So that's 2 positions out of 1.
All right.
Scotty Barnes is better
Jalen
than
Brown?
No, Jalen was better than
Okay.
Brandon
But Scotty,
Yeah.
the Raptors have a clear advantage in the front court.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pirtle, Barnes better. And then the bench is like
Pirtle or Al Horford?
Pirtle, I'm sorry.
Easy?
The bench with O'Shea, Murray Boyles, Sheed, Mogbo, Grady Dick. I think they got a better bench.
That's not far off.
Yeah. Sam
Like
Hauser,
you saying they have more
Payne
talent. You're losing.
Pritchard. Well, I think, it's something you have to think about, and Drew is thinking about it.
I didn't think about it. Sorry.
I just got
If we want to talk about health, this is a funny team.
It's a TBD.
The Washington Wizards.
No.
Why are you asking this?
CJ McCollum, Chris Middleton.
Is this 2020 flat?
Okay. Next name. The Philadelphia 76ers.
No. That's a TBD.
TBD. Who's going to start on the roster? How long are they going to last? Who else is on the team? Name 5 players.
So what? We have
The
for
5
Sixers,
players are good.
Name 5
Tyrese
players.
Maxey.
Joel Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, Jeremy McCain, VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre,
Well, he's on an option. I don't know if they're going to bring him back. VJ.
Justin Edwards,
Cool.
Adem Bona.
Who?
Adem Bona.
Oh, the big man.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then Gabu Duseli.
He's a free agent,
Free agent.
but they could probably bring him back.
QG,
So
free
I
agent.
think you had 7 that you took, or it was a TBD,
It was 5 facts, 2 TBDs.
and you had 6 in total.
Definites.
And that's around my...
I was counting definites.
That's
You
around
don't
my ceiling.
think that if Jaylen Brown stubs his toe in the shower, he's going to be out 3 months?
No.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
not the kind of guy Jaylen Brown is.
I think
Shit.
that
This is his Scottie Pippen year.
the uncertainty. You think so? This is Jaylen Brown's Scottie Pippen year.
I'll be honest, we don't
Do you
need
want-
Boston to get a top 3 pick. We don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it.
I'm kind of under the assumption they're going to be in the play for it. That's what they want.
If
That's
they get
the
it,
goal.
we are fucked.
I wish Jaylen Brown was a good playmaker so badly, man. The Celtics could make noise.
Really?
Brother, he know who he is at this point. He know who
They
he is
could
at
make
this
noise. So no, I think Anthony Simons being on expiring, it puts their future in question, because who knows? Maybe they just got Simons to be the tank commander, just take a lot of shots and let's lose. So I don't know. I think they're clearing books for the 2026 offseason.
All right, so give a grade.
for the
did
Simons
not
and
give a
Drew
grade.
Holiday trade,
Celtics. You said B+ for the Blazers.
I'll give a C. I think it's a C. Yeah.
C.
Well, the
Meanwhile,
player return.
on the day, the Celtics can't keep getting away with this.
It's initial reaction.
Yeah, you need Jesus
Yeah, because
Christ.
then Porzingis
bro.
got traded. I thought they might have been Porzingis.
What does that have
and
to do
Anthony.
with anything?
I thought it might have been. They might have maybe kept Porzingis.
Bro, I was already under the assumption that Porzingis was going to be mid.
So for me, if the Celtics' goal, which it was their goal, so being fair to what their goal was, the Celtics' goal was to shed salary and to have cap space for 2026. If that was their goal, which I'm assuming it was 100%, it's an A+, because they shed salary. Their clear vision this year is, let's see if we can get return for any of these guys that we really don't want long term, and let's try to not be that good this year. I think those are the conversations they're having internally. Like, yeah, maybe this might be a fun, surprising season, but no, I think the decision makers in Boston are saying, how can we get Cameron Booth?
Is Indiana doing
How
the same
can-
thing?
Yeah, I think that they're.
You didn't want to say that.
But I think
I
that.
caught you.
But I think that they have more talent than Boston.
You didn't want to say it, but I caught you.
No, I'm totally fine saying it. That's why they got the 2026 first round pick back.
Because they know what's up.
Yeah, I mean, they knew. I mean, maybe they didn't know, but it was just a coincidence that it happened that way. But yeah, if you don't have Halliburton,
Well, they traded for it after Hallie got
if you don't have no, I think it was before
It
his
was
cap
before.
string. It was
You
before.
sure?
It
Mhm.
was.
It was before.
It was the insane timing.
Okay.
So
So they knew what's up.
They did,
That was weird.
because him playing on that was a huge risk, and it would have became very valuable to the Pelicans if they had kept that.
Well, Pelicans probably would have never kept it. Anyways.
So that's why I just feel like, if your star player is out for the year, unless you have a very loaded roster around that player, you're not going to try to compete. Like if Drew and KP stood on the team, fine. Yes, I could be on board with them being awesome next year. But no, they clearly are shedding
Pacers
salary.
just made it to the finals, bro.
Yeah,
The East is wide open.
the East is open, but
Next
it's
trade.
not good enough for the Celtics.
Next trade.
So the next trade, or before I talk about the next trade,
Mm.
I feel like we got to talk about the Atlanta Hawks, because the Atlanta Hawks not only traded for Kristaps Porzingis, they gave up nothing to go get him,
Mhm.
and they also drafted Asa Newell. They traded back 10 spots and got an extra first round pick from the Pelicans that could be very valuable next year. But this is a team that has a $25 million trade exception that they can use to maybe continue adding to this roster, and they have cap space to add to this team as well.
They wanted to kill Alexander Walker.
So we're looking at an Atlanta Hawks team that, I mean, if in that perfect world, you have Trae Young, Dyson, Reese, Johnson, Porzingis, Onyeka, Karis LeVert maybe comes back, Alexander Walker. This is a very talented team overall. And I think the Hawks are the number one team that this offseason they looked at the landscape and they said, you know what, we're going to go all in the East this year, and we're going to make moves and see if Trae Young can lead us to those ECF heights once again.
Yeah, and it started with Jalen Johnson making that ascension, I feel like him being that number 2 swingman, that do-it-all wing that can run really great in transition, get guys going, play finish. I think that kind of set them like, and then Dyson, of course, coming in, being that defensive stopper, they felt like they had something. Zachary Richardson had a good, efficient rookie year. You got a kind of a 3-wing tandem in Dyson and Richardson and Jalen Johnson. They're all 6'6" up, long arms, strong. And I think with Trae Young, that's kind of what you want to build around him. Then you end up getting Porzingis, like you mentioned, for a steal. I feel like that whole thing is weird because I feel like Boston knows something we don't know because Porzingis been having these weird-ass illnesses all year where they don't know what it is. And I think he's just been, I don't know.
Prayers for Porzingis.
Prayers for Porzingis. If I spoke what I really wanted to say, it'd be a dark day.
I think we're both.
Yeah, but they got Porzingis. If he's healthy, that's dope. Onyeka's still in the roster. Like you mentioned, I think Karis LeVert will be back. I think that's a good addition off the bench. They have $25 million in trade exception. This is a team that's looking, like you mentioned, at the landscape. Same thing with Orlando.
They moved me.
Indiana's out. Well, Indiana's going to be competitive, but for the most part, they're out. Boston's out. Cleveland choked it up last year. New York lost in the ECF. They have holes. Hey, you're Atlanta. You're like, this could be a year. This could be a year we'll make some noise. We may not win it all, but let's get there. Let's get into the dance is just as important. So I like what Atlanta's doing this year.
No, definitely a fun move for them. I'm just interested to see how many games he plays. That's going to be the huge question whenever you talk about Kristaps Porzingis. But like you mentioned, this was essentially Kristaps Porzingis for free. So you had to make a move like this. I look at the Hawks and they are intriguing. And you say this is kind of like exactly how you want to build. This is perfect for Trae Young. This is a picture perfect dream scenario for Trae Young. For a guy that we understand his limitations on the defensive side, he's shown a great deal more effort over this last season on that side of the ball. You just always understand it's going to be a deficiency of his because he's undersized. But behind him are nothing but towers of men. The fact that Dyson Daniels is one of the premier defenders in the game. Of course, Jalen Johnson, what he's able to provide on both sides of the ball. Riv, you talk about how great he is in transition, absolutely, but he's an amazing rebounder on top of that too. Solid playmaker, really good offensive player. And then Richardson, who we know is going to be just your prototypical 3-and-D in this league. I think that that's exactly what you could ask for. And this is also after they traded DeAndre Hunter. They knew they had a plan in store. And Karis LeVert coming in off the bench too is another guy that gives them a spark offensively. This is going to be interesting because if KP is healthy, I'm intrigued. Onyeka and KP together as the big tandem in that front court, that definitely moves me. But really, the tandem is going to be Jalen and, of course, Porzingis, but just the two bigs themselves, Onyeka and Porzingis. In reality, Porzingis being, if he's healthy, you can run Porzingis and Onyeka on the court at the same time because Porzingis can stretch the floor as great as he can.
Also a good rim protector.
But that would be insane advantage for them because of how much size they would just play with because Jalen Johnson, Porzingis, Onyeka, Richardson, who's 6'10", Dyson Daniels 6'6". They just have so much size that they can play with. The Hawks are going to be scary if they can stay healthy.
How many teams do you think are definitively, without a doubt, more talented than the Atlanta Hawks?
The Cavaliers. Definitively
meaning that you can't make an argument that the
East
Hawks are more
or
talented.
West?
Just the East.
The Cavaliers, I would still say the Knicks.
Can you make an argument that Atlanta's more talented than the Knicks?
They're deeper.
I would still take the
Orlando's
Knicks.
up there too.
Orlando is up there.
The Knicks are better.
I think
they're better.
The only three teams that you could say are more talented than the Hawks in the East, I think, are the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Magic. But I think with the Magic,
Indiana,
and I think with the Magic and the Knicks, you can make arguments for it. I think with the Knicks, it starts with the depth that Atlanta has, and I think with the Magic, it's
nothing.
It's more so it could be the depth too, or it could be the surrounding parts.
I think Orlando's starting five is much more talented than Atlanta's. Outside of the center
much
position.
More talented is where
I like Boncaro more than
pushback.
Jalen Johnson. I like Franz.
But he's going up against Trae pretty much.
Well, I was going more position per position.
Yeah.
But yeah, true. I like
Franz is easily better than Jalen.
I liked him more than Ricochet. I was going position.
No,
for
fair, but
position.
I'm asking, is Franz
For me, yes.
easily better than Jalen?
For me, yes. Like comfortably.
Jalen can kind of do everything on offense.
His
Not at an elite level,
his
obviously.
half-court offense still spotty.
But he can space.
He's all right.
Comparatively to Franz.
Got me. Desmond Bane, I think, offensively clears Dyson. Like, it ain't even
Easy.
close. I think he, honestly...
As a player, I'm taking Desmond.
Desmond would go on Atlanta and probably be their second best offensive player.
Yeah.
That's how good I think
But
he
do you
is.
think that Dyson could take Desmond Bane out of a series?
Yeah, it's Dyson.
Dyson could. Is Dyson matching up on him or is he matching up on Franz?
It depends. I mean, it depends on who you want to take away.
Dyson can match up with whoever.
Yeah, for sure he could.
I think the Magic definitely have advantages at power forward, small forward, and shooting guard. The Hawks have an advantage at point guard and at center. And I think their bench might be a little bit more proven when I'm taking into account all the moves that they're about to make, which is also projecting. But I think the Hawks have solidified themselves as a top 4 team in the East. And if a couple things break their way, this could be the year that they make a playoff run with Trae Young leading the way.
You think they could go to the chip?
The Pacers just did it. So, and I think the Pacers are an amazing team.
Infrastructure, I feel like.
I do think they have a better infrastructure. I can't rule it out entirely. Because what if the ECF matchup is like the Hawks and the Magic? Do I think that the Hawks can get past them? Yes.
And if that's the ECF, with all due respect, the Cavaliers are never getting it done.
Yeah, for sure.
If the Cavaliers don't make the finals this year, blow it up. I'm not joking.
Is that
I
the
am
same
dead
sentiment
serious.
for the Knicks too, though?
Yeah, 100%.
I feel that.
This
I feel
is
like they can't, though.
This is the year for those teams that have been looking to get over the hump to make the finals.
So the teams with the most pressure in the East, the Knicks and Cavs, without a doubt.
My pushback,
without a shadow of a doubt.
My pushback on that is blow it up and do what?
Figure it out.
Like
either
I feel like
either retool or blow it up.
Well, you have to retool. I think if you're the Cavs, it's trading Garland and it's trading Allen.
Oh, I think Allen is because this summer.
The Cavs right now are going into this next season as is. They're not changing a damn thing.
No, I think
not that I think that they should. I don't think that they should change anything because going into this upcoming season, they're very comfortably the best team in the East. I passionately mean that.
I can see a retool.
If you don't go to the finals, minimum needs to be a retool because this season they've done nothing, and I'm okay with it because you just had for your franchise one of the best seasons you've ever had regular season wise. Obviously, you were underwhelming because of injury. I give you the benefit of the doubt. I give you the grace that you go into next season the same. If you fail again, something needs to be done. And if they don't, I have strong issue with the front office, and I don't know how confident I could be in them moving forward at all.
If you had to make a prediction, do you think the Cavaliers are going to the finals this year?
I'm going to say yes, but there's the part of me that just feels, and this sucks to say because I'm not this kind of guy when it comes to basketball. I always hope for the best case scenario injury-wise. But all they've shown me the last 3 years together is that one of them is going to break down. And it sucks because we know how great they are when they are healthy. It's just whether it's Donovan, whether it's Garland, whether it's Mobley or Jared Allen, the core four, they break down.
Is that going to be your pick too to go to the finals? Would you pick them?
Probably. I mean, their toughest matchups are out. Indiana was their toughest matchup in the regular season. Boston was their toughest matchup in the regular season. Atlanta too, low key. So that'd be a fun one too. But like the Knicks, just going off last year, obviously, the Knicks, they handled the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? They beat Orlando. Miami, they handled Miami. You know what I'm saying? So Philly was the only team, they were banged up, so you can't even gauge at what that is. But I'm not of the mindset that the Cavs should just sit down and do nothing. I do think they need to do something, moves around the margin, get some defensive dogs, get more wing defense.
What more do they need, Riv?
I think they need more. I think they need better wing defenders.
DeAndre Hunter starting next season?
Even if he does, I think that it's right. They don't have wing defenders.
Start him at the 3.
Nah, I like Strus at the 3. I think they're one of their best defenders on the perimeter.
And that's a problem.
DeAndre Hunter's not one.
He's better against bigs or like small ball.
But
type.
imagine that 5, especially considering the fact that Garland and Mitchell are one of the more undersized backcourts in the league.
Yeah.
Like you have Hunter, Mobley, Allen. That's pretty great considering Hunter still can shoot the 3 ball.
I don't mind Hunter.
But that's I think that kind of makes
Hunter.
sense for me.
I still think you need another, just another wing. Like I feel like I wish Okoro could shoot. because he'd be the fucking perfect guy. Because he can
I think
guard.
that's what the Cavaliers were hoping when they drafted him too.
He can guard his ass off.
That's why I kind of feel like the Hawks, they have a nice opportunity here.
You're not
because
wrong.
they have broken down too. So that's also a concern with them. Jalen Johnson has to stay healthy. So does Porzingis. That's the major question.
Can I also say there is pressure on the Hawks? There is pressure on Trae Young.
They need to be good. Sure.
Especially because I feel like it's kind of imaginary at this point, but there is a rivalry between Trae Young and Tyrese Halliburton of like which guard are you trying to invest in more, or who do you feel is better in terms of, obviously Tyrese Halliburton is the cleaner playmaker, but Trae Young has been the better scorer and the better creator in that regard too. It's like, which would you rather, the sloppy better scorer, sloppy for lack of a better term, even though he just led the league in assists, or do you want the guy that plays clean basketball but isn't the greatest at creating for himself? So you just watch that guy go to the finals and really be a star in that run.
Let's say the Hawks have a picture perfect season. Like, they don't have injuries. Everybody's syncing and playing well together. Do you think there's a possibility they could be the number 1 seed in the East?
No, because then I have to assume the Cavs have a picture perfect season.
Cavaliers are 1. Cavaliers are 1.
You don't think the Hawks have the ceiling of winning 60 games?
That's a lot of games.
No.
That's a lot of games.
No.
To go from where they were at and then to 60?
60's high.
That's a lot of games.
Where'd you get that number from?
It's just a bar of greatness.
No, that's a far bar.
Is Atlanta that?
I'm saying if like picture perfect, let's say Porzingis plays 70 games.
Both the 60-win teams didn't even make the finals in the East.
No, they didn't. But I'm saying like if everything goes well for them, they're healthy.
That means
can they win that many games?
We're getting a fun season too.
Bro, like
I kind of think Atlanta, if healthy, is locked into 50 wins plus.
Well, yeah, I mean they won 40 last year. So you're projecting 20 more wins.
With Jalen Johnson healthy for more than half the season and Porzingis adding.
When Jalen Johnson was playing, they were like a dead even team.
We're also hoping and praying Porzingis is good.
I'm expecting Porzingis to just play like 50 games.
Oh, 50.
Why?
I can see 50
because I know
wins.
he's going to miss 30 plus.
I can see 50 wins. 50, 55.
I
60 is a lot.
I can see my ceiling for them is 51 too.
Houston was super healthy. 52 wins.
It's true.
In the West.
This gives me Suns 2000s vibes.
Are you implying that
Trae Young, Steve Nash?
Yeah.
Rayford, Young, MVP level season this year?
Honestly, I can see an All-NBA season, no doubt.
Okay. I mean,
if it isn't this year, when?
I mean,
could he finish top 10 MVP voting this upcoming year?
What is he going to do that's different? Numbers wise. Like, what is he going to do that's different?
He just has to be
more
efficient. That's it.
I don't think that's ever going to be in his game. Respect to him. He's just short, small.
It might not, but I think that
he actually dropped this year in efficiency. He was a 37% 3-point shooter. He's up and down with it. This year he was 34. Last year 37. Year before 33. The year before that 38. The year before that 34. The year before that 36. So he's just up and down with his 3-point shooting.
He has to have the best season of his career.
I feel like the best season of his career was that 2022. He was 28-11, 20-10.
I think that's what he has to have overall. But so just back to the draft stuff because it's happening while we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant went to the Suns.
It's a good pick.
You like that pick?
Sniper.
Okay. I mentioned Cam Jones to Indiana.
Another wing though. You guys got a lot of wings.
Elijah Martin to the Raptors.
Don't know too much about him.
Micah Peavy traded to the Pelicans.
I'm here.
Maxime
The
Reynaud
from Stanford
went to the Kings.
He's athletic.
Jameer Watkins went to the Jazz.
Bucket. Florida State.
Brooks Barnheiser went to OKC.
I don't know that.
Yeah. The Knicks are picking not too far from this pick. We'll see who they get. So the other trade that happened, Wizards traded for CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk in a second round pick, and the Pelicans got Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey in a second round pick.
I like this for the Wizards because they needed some veteranship, and CJ is going to help out the young guys in that regard. That definitely moves me. I think CJ McCollum also is a fine player.
Yep.
So I'm going to give this a B- for them. I think that he will do a great job of mentoring the young guys because obviously that's what they want. And it's funny, who is it? Who's the third player? It's him. It's Chris Middleton.
Kelly Olynyk.
No, not Olynyk. I'm saying the third.
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart. That's funny. But yeah, they got veterans on that team. So I think that that's what they need to help get the young guys in check, because I think that there is something building in Washington.
Yep.
It's something that I'm actually looking forward to. And I thought that Jordan Poole would be a part of it, but I really do like this for the Pelicans as well. I think that they did need somebody that can create offense outside of Zion Williamson and not named Trey Murphy. Because Trey Murphy, I feel like he gave a lot of his energy to offense, and he really took a dip in his defense, like to the point where people think he's a legitimate bad defender. I think that that was a primary focus, and I think that with Zion having primary on-ball playmaking responsibility this upcoming season, so long as he is healthy, Jordan Poole is going to be due for his best season yet. So for that, I'm going to give this a B. I think that Jordan Poole is a guy that can fit next to Zion extremely well, because I don't think Jordan Poole is a guy that needs the ball in his hands to score, but obviously we know he does have that ability as well. Obviously super shifty. His ability to shoot off the dribble is really great. Last season, uber efficient considering where he was at the year prior. I really like this trade for both sides. I think that one side needed some veteranship. I think another side needed creation. I think both got wins.
The trade definitely caught me off guard because I didn't think they would trade Poole. I didn't think they needed to.
No.
I felt like they had Smart. They had Chris Middleton there. I like the nice collection of young talent. They had Bub, Keyshawn George, Bilal, and they were going to bring in another guy with the top 6 pick. But I guess, you wanted to fill a void and take Poole out to bring in another guard. So if in that retrospect, I get it because they brought in Trey Johnson. Okay, you had to fill out minutes, and I doubt CJ. He's probably going to take a buyout, or if not, he's expiring. So it really doesn't even matter. So like a B for the Wizards. I feel like they traded Poole to fill up spots for Trey Johnson. It was going to be Trey or Fierce, so good move for them. Got more veterans in CJ and Kelly Olynyk, and I like the approach that they're taking and bringing in guys that understand how to be professionals on a day-to-day basis, understand what it takes. Guys who have been either top scorers in the league, defensive player of the years, or three-point snipers who have played in deep playoff runs. They're bringing those type of guys in to mentor these younger players. As for the Pelicans, I felt like they could have kept CJ. I'm of the mindset of Jordan Poole is more available, though, and I think he's a bit more efficient. A little bit more high energy, more electric on offense, a lot more wiggle. Okay, that's fine. But I think the main part is more available. I think Jordan Poole, for the most part, has been really available for his career. You have not gotten that from CJ or DeJounte Murray over the last couple of years. So you're bringing a reliable guy who can give you 20 a night. I guess that's cool.
I mean, my goodness, Jordan Poole going from the Wizards to the Pelicans. I mean, not much of a change of scenery there. Just pretty much awful organizations.
You ever looked at his Instagram? It's kind of cool.
I have not. I don't pay attention to that unless it's my favorite players.
I respect that.
But I think the Pelicans get a C. It was kind of like, I kind of was wondering why they did it. For the Wizards, I'm hoping this is the year that they take leaps. I'm hoping that Trey Johnson is impactful from day one. I'm hoping that Alexander Sarr and Bub Carrington make major strides in their game in year 2. I'm hoping that Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart, and CJ McCollum are healthy and on the court and are consistently impacting winning, because the Knicks have their first-round pick. It's top 8 protected, though. So if the Wizards somehow are better than expected and they fall into that 9 to 14 range, we're talking about the Knicks having a top 14 pick in the draft. So for those reasons, I'm hoping that everybody on Washington flourishes. And I think that with the veterans they have, I don't think that's a crazy thing to expect if they stay healthy and these players actually take strides in their game.
I can see where you're coming from. I do think they did need somebody that could create and be a little bit more twitchy. I think they're trying to be a team that's going to get out and run, and I think that Jordan Poole can be a part of that. And I think that they're also trying to be a little flashy, get a little youth movement going on. And I think Jordan Poole and Zion can be a fun duo if they are healthy on the court together.
Fun.
No, fun for sure.
Fun duo.
Jordan Poole is fun.
And now you're going to tune into Zion.
Yeah.
A lot for like the 40 games that he plays.
They got Fears over there. They got Poole over there.
Stay on that side, bud.
Huh?
Stay on that side.
I'll stay happily. Until he's out of New Orleans, I'm gone. I'm gone.
Why is that?
Because I just don't believe in the Pelicans organization. That's it.
Who does?
Nobody does.
That guy does.
They had it at one point. It keeps me up at night sometimes that Brandon Ingram got hurt 2 weeks before the season ended.
Shit was brutal.
Bro, the high they were riding was dumb. They could have been a top 3 seed, and instead they fell into the play-in.
It reminds me of a quote that French Montana once had.
Let's hear it.
What's worse, to never get it or to get it and lose it?
They had it and lost it.
It's a good ass quote.
They had it and lost it. B.I. was playing some of the best basketball, and Zion too. It was just a great team, man. They just were a great team.
Now, the next trade, the Suns acquired Mark Williams and the Hornets acquired Mykick, Liam McNeely, and a 2029 first-round pick that is the better of the Minnesota, Utah, and Cleveland pick.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this, man. Suns getting an A from me.
Yeah, get a good big.
Contemplate an A+. Plus.
I feel like Charlotte.
Y'all know I love Mark.
Charlotte got an A from me too. I feel like they got a first-round pick. They picked up Liam McNeely. It was a good deal on both sides. I don't have an issue with it.
Was it a good deal for the Hornets?
They didn't want Mark
Why?
Williams. He's not that good.
Offensively, he is.
Defensively, he's not. And
They just got Ryan Kalkbrenner.
He has an injury concern.
Last season was easily the most healthy he was, and he was great.
For sure, yeah.
How many games did he play last year?
I'll tell you.
I know
I'm
they
going to take the over on 60.
Okay.
Whoa, 60?
Let me hear it.
60 does seem like a lot. There we go.
That would mean he only missed 22
Cap,
games.
44.
Yeah, 60 was crazy. It was a high bar.
They didn't want him. They moved him.
But he was healthier this year, though, for sure.
Damn, that's when you know that he's been injured majority of his
That's
career.
when you know
But
he's
I really
kinda
thought he played
cooked.
60.
He's actually never
Whoa.
played 50.
No, I know.
Yeah, you got to move off of something like that.
All right.
I
I
actually
still
like
feel
the
confident
Hornets.
in my grade, though. Because they needed bigs,
Yeah.
and they got two
Yeah,
on
the Suns,
draft
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Like what the Hornets did was good with Concanepo and Liam McNeely. McNeely
Snipers.
was a 5-star recruit. Yeah, he could shoot too. I know that the percentages don't show it, but on catch and shoot threes, he shot 37%. It was just all around.
They
It
are
was
about to shoot
31%.
73s a
Yo,
game.
bro, if only they already are one of the league
Yeah,
leaders in
yeah,
threes
it's
in a
about to
game.
go
I'm
up.
just gonna
Yeah.
say this: B Mill,
They're bringing in white boys.
come ready to play this season.
Yo,
We need you.
they changing the culture over. They're bringing in them white boys.
We need you desperately.
High level white boys.
What would you call it? Would you call it?
They are. What's the word?
Would you classify Concanepo as a high character player?
Yes.
Okay. Is the morale better now on the Hornets locker room?
They need it.
What's more likely, that he turns around the environment or the environment
even-
turns him around?
It's not even this. It's more of the schools they went to. Like Liam went to UConn. He played under Hurley. Like Colin went to Duke. Like he played under John. So it's like coming from that, like you already have a different mindset walking in. And players have already spoken about Khan's mindset. Like Cooper has spoken about it. Malawatch, John himself. So just bringing in that, like I feel like Charlotte needs more of that. You know, they've kind of not brought in, but they've kind of got these guys, and they never had a foundation. They never had, you know, that type of experience.
Charlotte's the real AAU hoops.
It used to be Houston.
It is. I mean, look at what they. I mean, it was at its worst and its
LaMelo
peak
was on the roof
when Terry
driving
Rozier
a
was
Mario
there.
Kart.
When they were out there buying jewelry and
When
stuff.
Terry Rozier was the vet on
Buggy.
that team, it just
Bad
didn't
vet.
have nothing.
I said LaMelo was on the roof riding the Mario Kart one time.
The Hornets
That
are
shit
one
was
of
a
those
movie.
teams. The Hornets need what Washington has going on. They need the CJ McCollum.
don't
They need
have
the
a
Marcus
veteran.
Smart. They need the Chris Middleton on the
Go
roster.
grab one. It's a lot of vets.
Yusuf
out there.
Nurkic might be the only vet they have.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna vomit.
They need the high character guys.
Hey, one more tank, Cameron Boozer.
I'm just praying. Get LaMelo off the Hornets. I'm tired of watching them.
Well, you're gonna have to watch again.
Bro, why did he get drafted there, man? Why couldn't the Warriors just draft him? I would be so locked in on the Warriors. If he got drafted to the Warriors, Riv, we might be screaming,
We might be 3 times.
yay area. Like,
2-time chips right now. You know what I'm saying?
You would have drafted him over Halliburton?
He was drafted higher.
I'm saying you, knowing what you know now, going back then,
What pick was
Yes.
that? 2?
2,
Who went 1?
Anthony
Anthony.
Edwards.
That's what I would have took. And probably
Steve Kerr didn't want him.
yeah, he made him work harder. Probably Hallie. Hallie fits more the system.
Does he?
Our system, yeah. He doesn't need the ball. LaMelo fake.
LaMelo doesn't need it either.
LaMelo fake.
Imagine.
LaMelo fake.
Yo,
need
but
that route.
that's okay with the Warriors because Curry doesn't need the ball. Who would you rather have the ball in his hand, Draymond Green or LaMelo Ball?
Dude, the sets they run, LaMelo can't do them. They're handoffs.
You telling me that LaMelo can't run no handoffs?
Oh, pick. No,
LaMelo
bro.
would be like a supercharged version of
Klay
2022 Poole.
Oh, that too.
That's a movie.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? But we still have Poole.
Steve Kerr really drafted Wiseman over LaMelo.
To be fair, Wiseman was a dude.
He played 0 games in college.
2.
He played 0 games in college.
Hey, if you don't remember the time, you can't talk about it.
I was there. He's supposed to go 1. He
was
didn't
supposed
play.
to. Yeah.
He dropped 1 spot.
that's elite aura. Like, that's different.
I hate him.
I do too. He got drafted to my team. He ruined. Well, no, he won a chip after, but he ruined long-term success.
You know, it's kind of crazy how it doesn't matter if the Hornets made the right or wrong pick that time.
Mm-hmm.
They're still in the same position. Like,
Facts.
they might as well have drafted a bust.
Yo, like, why do you choose words like that, man?
Well, I'm saying James
Like, you're
Wiseman.
so harsh.
But if LaMelo Ball was drafted at number 2, and let's say the Hornets took Wiseman at 3, what's the difference between
Oh, no, you're right.
where the Hornets are now and then?
Well, they did make the play.
It just sounded like you were saying like them drafting LaMelo. It's like
Now, you
doesn't
say the
matter.
situation is dog shit.
And I'm
Let
saying,
me-
yeah, I mean, them drafting LaMelo, it essentially has led to nothing.
let me ask you a question, genuine. If the Hornets drafted Tyrese Halliburton, do we care about Tyrese?
Probably not.
No.
All right. Thank you. We're
Who
good.
cared about Tyrese on the Kings?
No, we did.
Kind of not really.
We
though.
did.
Like consistently
Fox.
cared about him?
Dude, when Fox was hurt that right before he
I
got
don't think
traded,
we didn't care here though.
yo, he's averaging what he was averaging now?
I mean, nobody cared about Tyrese in the regular season unless it was to slander him. So
This
Cap.
year,
Cap. You're lying.
that's cap.
Cap. You capped.
this
You
year,
know,
Nah, he's still
know,
capped.
prior to the playoffs starting, I was high on the Pacers. You know that.
I'm saying for the entirety of Tyrese, though, he's been low key.
No, last year was through the moon.
You know what? Yes. All things considered, yes. He's played for the Kings. He's played for Indiana. These are two franchises that people really don't give a shit
I
about.
mean, Indiana, not for nothing, they're a small market, but people give a fuck about Indiana. They're
I think
basketball.
now, though.
Nah, they've been
I think
like
now
that.
more than, let me not say ever, because that's bullshit. That's wrong.
Even in the early, late
I just think that
2000s, they went to the
Halliburton-
finals.
Not only
did.
has his game phenomenal in the playoffs, but I think he showcased a side of his personality and vulnerability that not a lot of players get to showcase.
I also think he's tough.
Like, I think the heartfelt message that he wrote when he was in a hospital bed,
Mhm.
that was a heartfelt message that was very vulnerable of him. And I just think that fans, even the casual ones that weren't fans of him before, they got to know him in a different level because of that. And also, he's involved with like WWE stuff too. He's in a video game. I got him as a character. I could play him versus Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, that shit don't matter to me.
Yeah, I could play them together. So, but yeah, no, I think this platform definitely elevated him. But yeah, if he got drafted to Charlotte's just not a good organization. And my initial statement was like, LaMelo Ball is an all-star, all-NBA caliber player. And the Hornets drafted him. And to this point, it has led to nothing. That's not a knock on LaMelo. That's just a knock on organization. Like, they might as well have drafted a bust with that pick because it really has led to nothing.
You have called LaMelo a losing player before.
Well, he does have habits that contribute to losing. But he cannot
You're
be
instigating.
He cannot be the sole player blamed for them losing.
Type shit. Did we all accidentally put the shirts on today?
It was really insane when I pulled up to the spot. I seen him wearing it. I seen you wearing it. I'm like, wow.
I just realized that like we all have it on. I'm like, did we plan this?
We were on go.
We did not plan this.
We didn't.
I mean, you would know if we planned this, wouldn't you?
It was more like a
Brother vibe type shit.
rhetorical question.
Yeah,
Like, you didn't
So
need to answer it.
Javon Small went to the Grizzlies,
What school he went to? It's in your face.
West
It took too
Virginia,
long. Took too long.
WVU, and Tyrese Proctor went to the Cavs.
Oh shit! I like that.
Okay.
The Knicks are picking next.
I don't care. Sorry. That was
So
good.
on to the last topic of the
Was
show:
good.
NBA news.
Tyrese
Daniel
Proctor.
Gafford got extended by the Mavericks.
Shout out to
Fred
Gaffy.
Van Vliet got a new deal, $25 million per, to stay with Houston. It's shutting down
That's
the James
over.
Harden dream.
Yeah, it's over.
It's unfortunate. Houston made the wrong decision. Okay, but next, Austin Reeves declined a max extension from the Lakers.
It's because he thinks he's gonna be even better this year.
I think the max extension was $22 million per year.
Who?
For Reeves that he got
Oh,
offered.
yeah. You declined that. You can get more.
I think he's gonna try and he's betting on himself this upcoming
Yep.
season, and he's gonna try and get an insane bag next year.
And somebody will overpay.
And I will tell you, we will not have Austin Reeves ever again. And it's tragic. It's sad. We already got him for one lick. I am starting to see that vision.
If you're the Lakers, are you doing whatever you can to move Austin Reeves before the season?
Yes, because I feel like you have LeBron and Luka already.
As much as it makes me super sad, yes.
because he's an incredible player.
He is.
But it's really
player.
about
We need
the fit with
it's
Luka
it's about
and
needs.
LeBron.
Yes.
You don't need him. You don't need him.
A third ball
you don't need
handler
him.
is an insane luxury.
Yes, but could Austin Reeves, given his value, get you a premier defender or get you
Herb
a
Jones?
starting caliber center?
Can we get Bam Adebayo?
No.
Impossible?
Yes.
For Austin Reeves?
No, not just Austin Reeves.
What the fuck else do you have to give?
Hachimura.
Lost me.
I'm being genuine.
I know you're trying.
I'm not even trolling. Like, is that terrible?
Yeah, that's like insane. Especially like the
You know,
way
it's so funny. I'm being so serious right now, and you're really giving me the energy I don't need. Like, that's terrible.
the way the Heat value Bam and the way his defensive value is,
Uh-huh.
it's like not even close.
They
to
have
something.
Austin Reeves at home.
How is there anything that we have that we can get Bam?
Yeah, LeBron.
Be serious.
You're not.
You're not being serious.
Neither are you.
I'm being serious.
There's no way you think Reeves can get Bam.
And
Get
Rui.
Tyler Hero.
No, Reeves and Rui.
You have a better chance of getting Hero than Bam.
Reeves and Rui legitimately is not good enough. Plus, picks.
Yo, what? Yo,
You farted?
No, I didn't fart. I'm just like confused. Like, yo, what do you think Bam is?
I'm crazy.
Yes,
Yeah.
for Bam,
Actually,
yeah. Like you're nuts.
Like Rui,
Nothing to them.
Reeves, Vando,
holy shit,
2
nothing.
first-round picks.
Nothing
No.
for Bam.
Reeves.
That can get you Drew Holiday.
What?
Oh,
Something like 2 years ago, Drew.
that deal sucks.
For Bam, yes.
The Heat have Tyler Hero and Kasparov who's shown this already.
I get it.
Like, would you pay Reeves 25 to 30 million per year? Would you just bank
From
on
Miami, I have Tyler Hero.
Kasparov's development?
I have Reeves at home.
Can we be honest with the Heat? Like, what the fuck are you winning with Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo?
I'm fucking with you, but you ain't
Fucking
winning with Reeves.
Get it? I need
Who's
everything
older,
built.
Reeves or Hero? I think they're the same age.
Reeves is 26.
Reeves is older.
That's what I'm saying. So you basically I already paid Reeves. Why would I bring in another Reeves?
You're not wrong.
And then you want Bam? Fuck no.
Reeves is 27.
It's over.
But Reeves could get
Just
the Lakers,
turned
I
it,
think, a center.
Yeah.
They could get, like, what if you negotiate with the Mavs?
What if you want Jared Allen?
You think the Mavs again?
Austin Reeves for Daniel Gafford?
That would move the
I
Mavs.
can't do it. I can't do it.
You have to get more from the Mavericks.
I swear to
think.
God, he can finesse Nico and not get more.
Hold on. Would the Cavaliers give me Jared Allen?
Well, you need a little more to make the money work.
If they have Mitchell and Garland, no.
No.
I don't think it
Ty
makes sense.
Jerome's
for them.
gone?
I don't think it makes
I
sense for
think he
Reeves
lost
to
his
come off the
value in the
bench.
playoffs.
You don't think Reeves would come off the bench?
I don't think if he wants to get paid the most money, he's not going to do that.
What about Nah, I was gonna say Sabonis, but that's a stretch.
Like, I think if the Mavericks offer you Daniel Gafford, Max Christie,
Hold on.
and Jaden Hardy in a first for
Hold
Reeves,
on.
you doing it?
That's a lot for Reeves.
You think so?
Yeah.
Can we get Sabonis?
Nah, I thought too much. You can't. What happened? What'd
To
you pick?
Kobe Sanders.
I actually have no idea who that is. You can't get Sabonis, but you can go get his Rob Will.
No, I'm not
For Gabe
trading
Vincent.
Reeves for
No, Gabe Vincent.
easy,
seconds.
Easy done.
Yo, look, we can
Easy.
talk. You gotta start moving
That's
shit.
easy. But let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
Would I be insane to say I would trade Reeves on a sign? No, can't do a sign and trade.
Yeah, not right
Because
now.
no, not right now.
I think your best bet is trying to get Reeves for Herb Jones.
Let me ask you. We trade with the Jazz.
Mhm.
We package Rui and Reeves.
Mhm.
We get Walker Kessler,
Mhm.
John Collins, and Colin Sexton.
I don't hate it. You don't have a perimeter stopper though, but I don't hate it.
So we got DFS still. We're never
Well,
gonna have a
we
stopper.
don't know that because
You're right. He declined.
Yeah,
He loves Luka. He's gonna come back.
God willing.
He's coming
That
back.
takes money away.
Do you hate that package?
No. What, are you adding picks?
No.
I don't think.
What picks? Why are we giving picks?
I feel like Danny Ainge would try to get picks.
All right. One first.
All right.
Did you hear the deal?
But then does Danny Ainge want to pay Reeves?
John Collins, Sexton, and like,
No. John Collins, Sexton, and
Kessler.
Kessler.
oh my God.
Does Danny Ainge want to pay?
That's a lot.
For
Austin
Rui,
Reeves?
wait, for Rui and Austin. And a first.
He keeps trying to finesse. It's like.
And a first.
Does Ainge want to pay Reeves at 27 years old $30 million?
Yes.
Why?
Because him and Lori actually are.
I don't even think he wants Laurie in the roster anymore.
Can Lori come over? Is Lori available?
It's $40 million. Make it work.
They just drafted Walter Clayton Jr.
Is Laurie available?
For you guys, probably not.
Would you do a first Rui? It's 40.
Yeah, it's 40.
Fuck.
You don't have money, bro. You're strapped.
Would you do Rui and Vando
Mhm.
in a pick?
What pick? First?
Yes.
Okay.
For DeAndre Ayton.
No.
This guy thinks the
I'm not
an
giving up a
expiring
first round
Ayton?
pick for DeAndre Ayton who's making fucking 35.
He's
Expiring.
That's why I wouldn't give up the first, though. He's expiring.
No.
2 seconds.
Would you
No.
give up Rui and Vando for Ayton straight up?
Giannis
Maybe.
is closely observing the Bucks draft here tonight and then free agency next week. Yeah, brother. He's
Question.
gone. Oh, shit.
Watch when he goes to the
Question.
Raptors.
Do you think I'm nuts?
Yes.
Different question.
Okay.
Is it possible
There we go.
that we see Giannis or Jokic move this offseason?
Ooh, I saw the Jokic shit. That shit was crazy. But I think the Joker is a lifer. I have stood on this for a while. Giannis is getting moved.
I can't see either of them get moved.
I don't think the Joker gets moved. Yeah, the shit the owner was saying, or the GM, he was
What's
bugging.
wrong with
He
him?
didn't need to do that.
Why are you vocalizing
He didn't
that?
need to say that. He should. That's something where he got mouth vomit or whatever.
Yeah. Word vomit.
Yeah, word
No
vomit.
bull.
But Giannis is gone.
I'm 100% on board with Giannis not being on the Bucks this upcoming
And
season.
I think it's okay.
I know that people want him to be loyal, but you look at the team and how bad it's going to be. I don't think he wants to be a part of a losing organization. And I think free agency and the draft, a lot of teams are now clear on what their direction is, where they need to improve, how they could potentially contend. And I think that the Bucks, they could look around and we know that they could get a treasure chest of assets for Giannis. I just don't think it makes sense for them to continue to build around Giannis. Like, if I'm the Bucks, I'm not doing it all over again. I actually think the Suns were in a better position to build around Booker again than the Bucks are to build around Giannis again.
I'd agree. Easily. Because they had a Kevin Durant to trade. The Bucks have nothing to trade. Absolutely nothing. They're fried. It breaks my heart for Giannis. This is going to be one of the greatest primes ever wasted.
Unless he gets traded
Unless he gets traded, it's right.
to the Raptors.
What about the Lakers?
Yeah, I think it's not possible.
I don't think it's possible for the Raptors.
I think if you're the Raptors, you give Scotty Barnes, you give a lot of picks, you give Colin Murray Boyles up, you give Emmanuel Quickly maybe, you give RJ Barrett up. Oh, RJ Barrett, Scotty, Colin Murray Boyles, maybe a rookie, and then you just give them 5 first-round picks. Get it done.
He's not getting traded within the same conference.
I don't see why not.
I definitely see a reason not to.
I hope he doesn't get traded to the West.
If he gets traded to the West, it becomes OP.
I think that in the West,
But you want him in Toronto.
I do want him in Toronto. He just asked me he doesn't think he's getting traded in the East.
He said he wants to stay East.
They're like, I think that the Rockets made their big move. Maybe they make another one and go get Giannis. That is possible.
They could. They gave up nothing.
They could give
I
up
think
picks.
I'm being honest.
They can, yes.
They trade Jabari. They trade Tari.
Shangon.
They trade Sengun. They trade 4, 5 firsts.
They can get him.
I'm still
Or
in.
you could take Tari out, add Reed.
Oh, fact.
Got to keep some front.
I
court,
need
yeah.
I need a wing
Yeah.
on top of Amon.
It's either the Spurs or OKC, to be honest.
Yeah, the Spurs for sure.
OKC trades for Giannis.
We're fucked.
We're calling Giannis KD again. The only difference is that Giannis got his.
Yeah,
Thank
he's
God.
he's in the East.
Giannis got his ring already.
He didn't lose to OKC.
What
so
about Portland?
that would be a fun destination.
Kamara, Scoot.
I'm saying Aiden could be used as a salary filler for most of it.
You got
Even though you have to get more, but let's say DeAndre in, Shaden Sharp.
Somebody got to go.
Kamara's got to go.
Maybe you put in Scoot Henderson in the deal.
I'm going to be honest. There's no way that you can do this if you're the Blazers and
You're not ready.
ruin everything.
Like if I'm the Blazers, do I offer Ayton, Donovan Clingan, Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson, and 4 picks for Giannis?
What is the roster then?
That's what
Drew
I'm
Holiday,
wondering.
Jeremy Grant, Tamani Kamara.
Why not put Grant in the deal?
You have Rob Will.
You know what this sounds like?
That
Them
sounds
regurgitating
awful, bro.
2021 Bucks.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Portland ain't ready for that, but it would have been fun. It would have been cute. I feel like Giannis supposed to go to a win now position, like win now situation.
It's just hard for any team to like win now.
I
when
mean,
they're
Yo,
trading
you
so
want to know
much.
where? Golden State.
Minnesota.
We can do it.
Golden State can do it.
Minnesota.
You guys can do it, actually.
Let's get serious. Yeah.
I'm dead
No,
serious.
yeah, I'm talking. He's talking about
Yeah.
some other shit.
They
We can
can't
get
trade anything, though.
Yes, we can.
Jimmy.
We still have a lot of first round picks. You didn't know that. I know you didn't know that.
Why would the Bucks want Jimmy, though?
We can take who the fuck else? They can have whatever they want. That's not Steph. What do you want? You can have the four first round picks. You can have Potts. You can have Moody. You want to do this Kuminga sign and trade? Let's get it done. You can have Draymond.
I think so, too.
No way.
You just offered them DeAndre Ayton and shit. We can't offer them Draymond.
I don't want Draymond to go.
What?
I'd rather win no championships again than let go of Draymond.
End the show.
He's a fucking nut.
End
I
the
need
show.
more for Steph, man. Anything
Draymond
for-
Green is the heart and soul. He is the reason.
Now we have Giannis.
One of the main reasons this
Thank you.
happened.
Thank you for saying one of.
Yeah, defensively, he is the reason.
Now we have Giannis. I'll be honest. Anything to get Steph
Curry's
hot.
not on that team. They win 0 championships.
They don't become anything.
Do you swap him
0.
out for Dame Lillard?
It doesn't matter.
0 championships.
If Draymond's not on the team, they win 0 too.
Zero might be strong.
No.
When
They win at least
Steph
one.
Curry's been the man.
Yes.
They win
They'll
at
get
least
So
one.
I'm not counting the KD ones.
They get one.
You have to count the KD ones.
No, why?
Why can't you? Why do you take them out?
Because it's overpowered. It's still KD and Steph.
I'm sorry.
And I'm saying, as the man, Curry won 2 championships, 2022 and in 2015.
They can't win in 15 without Draymond.
No,
They can't.
no,
What do you mean?
They can't?
Just wait. Hold on.
Yo, what?
No.
What do you wait? Just because Kevin Durant won Finals MVP doesn't mean Steph wasn't the man, dude.
KD was better in those
They're
playoffs.
both
KD
the
was
men.
better.
Yeah, but they're both the men.
They are. It's
They are
1A,
the
1B,
man.
but there's
Let's-
an obvious 1A. It's 1A, 1B, but it's an obvious 1A, Riv.
Hey.
Sure.
We see how it's aged.
Hey.
Curry has got the
All I'm
chip.
saying is, look at the regular season when Kevin Durant was in and when Steph.
I mean,
was
listen,
in.
Steph, KD, and Clay, yes, I think could win a championship without Draymond.
I'm glad
I
you
also
know.
think Dame, Clay, and KD can win a championship.
I don't.
Ooh, I
Wait,
do.
you said Dame who?
Dame, Clay, and KD.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
Mister,
could.
I choke up after the first round. No, I don't think so.
That was unnecessary.
It's the truth.
I think 2015 is possible.
Okay.
I think 2015 is
Do
possible.
you forget like they swept Dame when they didn't have Kevin Durant?
It swept Dame, and his starting lineup was Alfred Camino and Mo Harkless.
They made the WCF. What do you want me
And
to do about
Evan
that?
Turner was
They made,
part of
they
the
made
rotation.
the WCF. He got saved by CJ McCollum in
I was
Game
gonna
7
say
against
CJ
Denver.
was there.
CJ was good. I'm just saying they clearly had not enough talent.
Wasn't Nurkic on that team too?
He was playing well.
Yeah, he was on
Okay.
that team.
Why did we only name the bad players?
Because that was
The
in
mid
their
players.
starters. They started
I'm sorry.
Trevor Ariza was on that team, or was he on Houston?
the
then?
Blazers.
Uh-huh.
No, he was on the Rockets.
That was later. I know what you're thinking of. That was later. Yeah, we got to stop this Dame hype. The shit like T-Mac, but higher. Like, no. I'm sorry.
The shit like T-Mac.
Yeah, like, he's a first round merchant. No offense to Dame, Hall of Famer, but come on.
No,
Who's
where
better,
did
T-Mac
Ariza
or-
go?
or,
Nah,
Damian
Ariza went
Lillard?
to the Wizards, bro. Did he?
No, Wizards was before Houston.
Yeah, it was.
He
I'm
played
wrong for
Portland.
saying I'm taking Dame over to Tracy
No,
McGrady. All right,
I
thank
would
you.
too.
Thank you.
They're the same.
When they
dudes, though.
brought in, because when Ariza left in 2019, he was not on that team.
Yes. But now I remember he played with the Wizards prior to that, though.
Where did he play? Are you looking it
I
up?
think
I
Portland,
am.
because he played on
Portland,
Portland.
2019, 2020.
Yeah, he played. He was right. He played on Portland. He
But
played
it was
with
not that
Washington.
year because that was the 18-19 season,
Yeah.
right?
Washington,
he was on
played-
Washington. My guy.
Yes.
Oh, he was?
Washington.
18-19?
Washington, yes.
Oh, it was after. It felt like 2014.
So he was a journeyman. He went from the Rockets 17-18 to Phoenix 18-19 to Washington traded midseason 18-19 to then the Kings 19-20 traded to Portland 19-20. That's when they played against the Lakers in
Yeah.
round one. And then he was in Miami 20
Where was he
21.
before Houston? Just Lakers and
Washington.
Hornets? Oh, so I'm thinking of that stint.
Yeah.
That was with John Wall.
That was the stint he made an impact.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that stint. Okay.
After that, he kind of,
What the hell? Trevor Ariza was a role player. Jesus.
One of them dudes.
He
Good role
was
player.
traded so much. Knicks, Orlando,
I think a lot of those were free
Lakers,
agencies too.
Pelicans.
I'm going to be honest, the only team that he was steady on was the Rockets for multiple
Oh.
years.
He was good with the Hornets.
The Hornets?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
How many years did he play there?
2.
he was good with them. He was good.
No,
with
I'm not
Washington.
saying good.
He did
I'm
average
saying, like,
15.
where he stayed.
Oh, yes.
like the
yes.
Rockets, he had an extended stint 2 times.
Yo, Cavaliers, Antoine Jameson, or
Crying at that.
Hornets, Trevor Ariza.
Antoine Jameson.
Anton Jameson.
Loved his game.
I remember when he got traded to the Cavaliers. I was so young, and I remember watching ESPN. They were gassing it.
Yeah,
was a
because
dude.
LeBron had no help, but in the moment they were definitely
Antoine was
high on
nice
those
as hell.
moves.
I also remember when LeBron got Shaq and Kevin Hart is doing the specials like, y'all might do it.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Shaq was dog shit.
he was a big dude.
They won 66 games that year.
LeBron's the greatest to
Mo
ever
Williams
do it.
All-Star year, right? Was it that year?
I don't think so. I thought that was the 07 year.
I thought it
Mo
was
Williams
09
is an
year.
All-Star
I
09.
could be wrong.
It was 09 year, because they had Delonte West on that team.
Maybe.
Yeah, their starting lineup was not bad.
They were just
Mo
small,
Williams,
man.
Delonte West, LeBron, Ilgauskas,
Small
Shaq.
as
It was
hell.
the 08-09.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Mo was cool. Mo was cool.
He was cool.
Yeah, he was a cool little backup starter.
Yeah, they won.
I'm glad he won the championship when we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, this lineup, I mean, LeBron, Mo Williams,
Small.
Ilgauskas, Delonte West, Virgil, Boopie Gibson,
You're about to gas it.
Serbiak. I mean, J.J. Hickson was a good young player for them.
Team fucking sucks, bro.
J.J. Hickson. I think there was rumors back then that the Cavaliers, they traded for Anton Jameson because they refused to put J.J. Hickson in a deal to go get Amari Stoudemire.
I'm actually fucking floored that we were able to talk as much as we did for 3 hours.
Didn't feel like it.
It didn't. But I need you to wrap up the show because I need to go do my brother's.
Oh, yeah, facts.
Yeah, I need to go watch Love Island too. So.
Cool.
I need to just go home.
Yes. All right, so that's it for us. You guys can follow us on Twitter and on TikTok at Pick Aside Podcast, on Twitter at Pick Aside Pod. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.